should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle. If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Take me up into the mountains, send me off into the wild. Misery is still a path I would choose if the alternatives are worse. I guess it's time to find a friend, one who will stick by to the end. Going out of my mind in the middle, in the middle. Wasting all of my time in the middle, in the middle. I take a bite and spit it out, unaware of what it's about. I'm not that good at faking it. I feel somehow I've broken it. I don't believe I'm part of it. In the If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Nothing really matters at all. Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, happy Friday. Thank you for being here. We got a lot to talk about. I found quite a few things, and I did not even list everything that we have to talk about today. I know, Anatolia, I need to make a new video, but yeah, it usually goes over children that have just recently run away. I mean, you can go on that website, on the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and it will all be within like the last couple of days for the most part. It's really sad. Thank you for being here and happy Friday. Kimmy C123, the Astro from Space. Hey, Bella's Boys, Lori Ann, Ashley. Good to see you. Dandy Lioness, Heel Sandra Firelight. Good to see you. Hannah UK, good to see you. Edith, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Karen, Anatolia. Oh, I don't know if you were talking. I was trying to figure out your comment. I apologize. I'm allegedly speculating. I don't know if you thought I was strategic, guys, but I'm not. I wish I was as good as he is. Maybe one day I will be. Julie Ann, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Soups, good to see you. Scratch the Paint, good to see you. Thank you for saying hey to everybody. Cara, good to see you. Carrie, good to see you. Occasionally Classy, I love your name. Good to see you. Teresa, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Tanya and the D, good to see you. Monica, good to see you. Cindy from sunny South Florida, good to see you. Dainty Dane, good to see you. Hey, Blue Jay, good to see you. And David, good to see you. Hope they find him. Talking about Travis Decker, they might have. I'm not sure. Crime Time Watcher, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Oh, thank you, the Astro. I believe that you do love everybody. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Hey, Sky, good to see you. I'm feeling okay. Jerry, good to see you. I've been stressed out, but I reckon that's something that's gonna happen till the end of time, so I might as well get used to it. Hey, Shelby, good to see you. I hope you're well as well. And Heathen, good to see you. I think they know where he is too. Okay, so what can we, let's start with baby Emmanuel. Let me go grab my list. Happy Friday. I hope y'all have an incredible weekend. Okay, I've got a couple of videos about the Emmanuel Haro case that I just found. A couple different ones that I thought we would look at and talk about. So I did just see this one from 15 hours ago. It says Emmanuel Haro's father calls himself, quote, the fall guy. And I find that to be really interesting considering
it was 2 weeks ago
what
today.
he did to Carolina. I don't know how he could think that he's going to be the fall guy for something that didn't happen after what he did to Carolina, later renamed Promise. Bella's Boys, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And I love you too. Thank you. That was really very sweet of you. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I love you too. Miss North, good to see you. Shelby, I'm glad you were gifted love. Hey, Speedle, good to see you. There were 69 watching before I joined. Oh, Decker was the wrong case. Austin is the one who had Adrian and the baby overnight before he unalived the family. Really? I haven't heard that about Austin. Austin did have the baby and was dating the grandmother's girlfriend. I'll see what else I can find on that real quick. Yeah, there's a lot coming out on, I've been looking into Austin the past couple of days as well. All right, this is about Emmanuel and his interview he gave against his lawyer's advice from behind bars.
That Jake and Rebecca Haro told police that their 7-month-old son, Emmanuel, had been kidnapped by an unknown and unidentifiable attacker.
Hey, Lisa, happy
Rebecca
Friday.
out in the parking lot of a sporting goods store. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Which is a terrifying story that caught the attention of the nation, right? Especially when authorities in Riverside, California called it BS. As you probably know, the Haros are both now charged with murder in their son Emmanuel's disappearance. They're also charged with lying.
Yep.
Not to us, but to the police, because that is a crime. And 2 weeks later, there's still no trace of baby Emmanuel, who police now say may have been killed as early as August 5th. And through it all, both of these suspects remarkably cannot seem to stop telling stories. Last weekend, Rebecca gave a jailhouse interview professing the couple's innocence and declaring Jake a good dad who would never hurt a baby.
Yeah.
Though,
Right.
as we all know, he did hurt a baby, almost killed her. In 2018, he sent his own 10-week-old daughter to the hospital with life-altering injuries. She's now 7 and has been unable to feed herself or look after herself ever since.
Yeah, he's a sick individual. And I found another one just like him who had little twin babies and hurt them really badly, almost the same way, that we can talk about as well if we have time. That's a rumor about Austin. The rumor is, well, one of the rumors I've heard is that he was a confidential informant and that he did take Adriana to the hospital when she gave birth to the 7-month-old, and that nobody really understands what actually happened, that he didn't commit the homicides is what he's saying. But the police say that he is the one that did it, and they feel really confident in that. So I'm not real sure. They think the baby is in the dump, unfortunately. Yeah. Speedle said it's disgusting the mama is still lying for him when he's even admitted he killed the baby. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And the police said it was prolonged abuse. I want to know how they know that. Yeah. That case is crazy. I'm trying to get more info on it.
And now it's apparently Jake's turn to talk to a reporter from jail. A
Yep.
different jail than Rebecca's for sure, but undoubtedly he's flouting the same advice that her lawyer must have given her, which is, don't talk to anyone but me. You're in trouble. In Jake's interview, he didn't specifically declare himself innocent, but he did say he was being, quote, completely cooperative with investigators. I think that part, that's in the eye of the beholder.
The beer
But he
holder.
stated flat out to the reporter, and I quote, Rebecca is innocent. She loves her children. He said the DA's theory that baby Emmanuel suffered long-term abuse that led to his death, not true at all. Quote unquote, not true at all.
All right. Thank
But
you.
he didn't offer any new accounts of where his son might be or where his son's remains might be to that reporter, that is. To other people, he's told at least 2 different stories.
Yep.
A source tells News Nation that after the Haros were arrested, Jake told the police that he rolled over on Emmanuel while he was sleeping, accidentally killing the baby, and then, inexplicably, decided to just bury his son's body, you know, in the desert off a highway. Because when you have an accident in bed like that, you're going to just bury your beloved baby just in an unmarked grave somewhere off the highway.
Because you care so much and you want to be able to go back there and mourn your child, right? Because that makes sense. But then we go out there and you look for the baby, basically a wild goose chase. And then I believe he admitted that the baby was never there after they figured out that he was full of shit, allegedly speculating.
That's what we figure led to this arrest, right? And then,
Hey,
of
Laura.
course, Sunday's total
always
boondoggle
late.
in the grass there, where an alleged child
Yep.
killer accompanies police on an hours-long search in a field alongside said freeway, Highway 60. Wouldn't you know it? This here search didn't turn up anything. Nothing. Weird, right? Because, like, they had cadaver dogs and everything, because if you had dropped that baby there, even if the wildlife had gotten to the baby, the cadaver dogs would have noticed something.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. And maybe that is because of the next story that Jake told us all. Our Brian Enton learned that while behind bars, Jake told a fake inmate, either a police officer or a civilian informant in disguise, that he was the one who, in fact, killed his own son and put the child's body in a trash can. It's what you call a Perkins operation, when you infiltrate the jail with a jailhouse snitch, another inmate, or an actual police officer dressed up as an inmate.
Yep.
And you just get the guy talking. They said that's what happened with Jake Haro. He just stopped. That would complicate the search enormously, right? If what he said to this so-called inmate was true, especially if it happened 3 weeks ago. But the DA said just yesterday that he's got a pretty strong idea of where police should be looking for Emmanuel's body. And I say body because the police assume the child has been murdered, hence the murder charges.
But I think they're going to have a problem trying to find his body. Hey, M-Face and Cracker Jacks, I think they're going to have a problem trying to find his body because they're going to a landfill that and going back as far as 3-4 weeks. I don't think they're going to find him, just like they only found part of oh my goodness, I've been saying his name and just forgot. I keep thinking Orson and Classic and Sincere, but it's not them. The one in Georgia where everybody was saying, "Where is the baby?" I've got her jail calls. I'll think of it in a minute.
And as for that prior conviction for
Allie,
willful child cruelty, which left Jake's tiny victim permanently disabled, Jake told the reporter that he pleaded guilty because, and I quote, "I didn't have the money to go to trial. I didn't have the money to go to trial." He also said he was sick of court and that the judge knows I didn't do it. They just...
So, yeah, he got a sweetheart plea deal. And it's amazing to me that he got the sweetheart plea deal with a traveling judge that is not normally there. Like, out of all of the days to take that case to trial, we take it to trial on the day when a traveling judge is there, and we get the sweetheart deal of the century for that. Now, if there wasn't some backdoor dealings going on in that case, my name is Bob Seeger, and I used to live in a house in California that was full of people.
Railroaded me. I was the fall guy.
Yeah.
Quote, unquote. And that might just be his biggest lie of all.
Let me back that up. You were the fall guy. You were, oh my God.
I didn't have the money to go to trial. I didn't have the money to go to trial. He also said he was sick of court and that the judge knows I didn't do it. They just railroaded me. I was the fall guy.
The fall guy who got the sweetheart deal of the century. Oh my gosh. It is such a joke. It is. Lorianne. It is an insult. It's an insult to the victims, his children. It is, Cracker Jacks. And even after that, even after this sweetheart plea deal that he got, he was still allowed around other children, his own children, and now there's another child that's deceased because of it. But he was railroaded, y'all. He was railroaded.
Quote, unquote.
The fall guy.
And that might just be his biggest lie of all. Because as we all know from cop shows, when they read you your Miranda rights, you're told that you have the right to an attorney. And if you cannot afford one will be provided to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now.
Stop yelling at me. Yeah. You were the fall guy that got the plea deal of the century. I can't with him. I'm so done with him. I did see this I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know where it came from. It appears to be some kind of like Facebook or something. But I did want to, let me put this banner up. I wanted to read it to you. So this is from News Viral Today's, which is actually more than likely not an actual news group. But it says, it is being reported that while investigators were searching the home of Rebecca and Jake Haro, they were also searching Jake's sister's home, Sylve Haro. Now, if you remember, Sylve is the one that took to social media first to announce that Emmanuel was missing. Remember the aunt that was talking everywhere, and she stated that Jake loved, past tense, Emmanuel. They loved Emmanuel and reiterated the story that Rebecca told. It's that one. She stated that Jake and an older sibling were inside Big Five and that Rebecca took baby Emmanuel outside to change his diaper in the car. She stated that a 200 to 220 pound man approached Rebecca, hit her in the eye, knocking her unconscious, and fled with the baby. Silv allegedly went on to explain that the man was driving a white RAV4. After the interviews were done with the news outlets and became public, the inconsistencies between the initial story being told and what Rebecca and Jake told the news forced Silv to delete her entire Facebook account. Now police must believe that she is connected somehow, or at least her property. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I never saw the Silv Haro's Facebook. I can see if we can find it real quick. But evidently all of that's been deleted, so I don't know what we would find there anyway. But if she did go on Facebook and say, quote, that she and Jake were stated that Jake and an older sibling were inside the Big Five, and Rebecca took Emmanuel outside to change his diaper in a car, and a 200-pound to 220-pound man approached Rebecca, hit her in the eye, knocking her unconscious, and fled with the baby that was driving a white RAV4, and she saw the whole thing. Why is she lying for them? What does she know? Hey, Wolfpack. Why would she come forward and say all that and say she witnessed it if this is true? Let's see if we can locate her real quick before we go on to our next video. All right, let me get it pulled up. Maybe we can do some sleuthing and see if it's real or not. So there's the post that I just read. That person's from Jerusalem, and this person's from Guadalupe. Let's see. I don't know that this person would be related or anything like that. The Facebook account might have been deleted. That picture, people are saying that, yeah, a lot of people are saying this person, Silv Haro, the same thing that we just read. I wish we could find her Facebook, but evidently it's been deleted. People are pointing out that he looks normal in this photo, but if we look at his eyes, see, I don't know. Let's talk about this photo real quick. This eye is looking over in this direction, and this one is looking kind of forward. So I still see that he's cross-eyed there. A lot of people are saying that he looks like he's not cross-eyed there. Hey, Roberta. Sounds like they're all liars and nobody protected the children. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why is the sister and everybody in the whole entire world lying for these people? Hey, Nanny Goat. And it wasn't a plea deal. He fled open to the court. So there's no plea deal on those. So whatever that judge did, he did. Yeah. Hey, Carrie. There's another YouTube creator that has a ton of photos of Emmanuel Haro from a few months ago. He looks very normal. I've seen one of them, and hey, Amy, and it looked fake to me. So I don't know. You have to be careful. This is the only one. Hold on. That's the only one that he looks normal, is this one right here. That one, he looked normal to me. And he appears to get progressively worse over time. I mean, I do see that he gets worse over time. But, yeah, it's going to go on to other things now because I was looking for Silv Haro. So I'm not sure, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Cross-eyed, yes. Droopy-eyed, no. Okay. Let's go back over here. So in this one, he's going to deny long-term abuse of the missing baby. But remember, the DA, hold on. The DA said that
Jillian, I'm told that
the DA said that Emmanuel died from long-term abuse. So I don't think the DA is going to say that if they're not positive about that being what happened. Yeah, you can say the name of the person. The older he got, more damaged he looked by traumatic brain injuries. I agree. Girl, I mean, sorry, Wolfpack, I know. It's weird they don't have many pictures of the baby. I had like 1,000 photos of my baby in my phone at 7 months old. I did too, all of them, yep. It's ocular dysplasia from blunt force injury. You think so, the Wicked Witch of the Midwest? Nice to meet you. I think it very well could be, but I don't know. If I ever thought anyone in my family or that I know was abusing their children, I would first confront them and then I would report it, related or not. So yeah, why is the sister and everybody covering for him? If Gavin Fish did it, I would be more apt to believe it. So I'll have to look into that and see where the pictures are from and where he got it. Because I would believe it coming from Gavin Fish. I'll definitely check that out. Thank you, Carrie. Oh, you're good. Okay, so in this one, he's going to deny long-term abuse. But again, remember, the DA said that that's how Emmanuel died. And if that's what he's saying, he must have some concrete proof.
jailhouse jumpsuit is actually not just an accidental color. It's bright, bright red to separate him from other inmates and show he's a seg inmate, that the ones who are segregated and high risk for violence from other inmates have to wear the bright red. So it's pretty fascinating. Clearly, they have their eyes on what they think he's all about. So he's at the Larry D. Smith Correctional Facility. The video link conversation with the reporter was, what, 45 minutes or so. He says that he's cooperating. I wonder if that means I'm cooperating. I led them out to Highway 60, which everybody now pretty much presumes is a boondoggle.
Yeah, I think, again, you're with a large majority of people. He claims he's been completely cooperative with investigators, but he wouldn't go into detail. He was pressed multiple times on whether he led authorities to that remote area you just mentioned. You're looking at that video. On Sunday, when he was spotted with some of those investigators out there, he said he wants to talk about it, but he can't. Again, he mentioned his attorney saying, do not talk to the press. So, without saying much, he's like, I've been cooperative, but he wouldn't really give us any other details as to the disappearance of his baby boy.
But there he was, happy as a clam to talk about the last time he beat up a child, which was his own, a 10-week-old. And if anyone out there doesn't have children or has never had a baby, at 10 weeks, they're just the size of like a couple of sticks of butter. They're so tiny.
They are very tiny, and it's disgusting that he could do anything like that to a child. That's any child, anywhere, ever. I'm trying to locate like the actual jailhouse interview. I'm going to see if we can find it and talk about it. Roberta said, I think he likes attention, and I agree. I think he does. I think he very much likes the attention that he's getting.
Tiny and so completely helpless. So to think that this child was left permanently disabled from the injuries that she sustained. Talk to me a little bit more about what he told the reporter about that crime.
Yeah, that's the one thing he really did talk about. He talked a lot about it, and he really blamed that on why investigators, what he says, are unfairly assuming that he killed his 7-month-old. He explained exactly in his words what he said happened. He said he accidentally dropped his daughter, Carolina, on a sink divider while he was giving her a bath. But he said he didn't think she was injured. And then his wife at the time, so this isn't Rebecca, this is Vanessa, she apparently woke him up in the middle of the night and said, something's wrong with the baby. So they took her in to see the doctor. And that's when they found a multitude of injuries. There were broken bones, other serious injuries. She was an infant at the time, like you just mentioned, but ever since then, she's now, not grown up, but she's a young girl. She's been bedridden and she has cerebral palsy. And that's something that they really brought up yesterday in that press conference. The DA was getting somewhat emotional about it because he's like, you see all of this here and still you're not, you didn't go to prison. He made a plea deal with the judge in that case. And he said, as you mentioned, it was because he couldn't afford it. So he was given a 4-year probation sentence and 180 days of community service. And when
I'll never understand how that was all he was given, and that's all the judge saw as needed to be answered for in that child's life, because she will never ever be the same again, ever. I agree. Narcissism. Yep. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Kate. Good to see you. Yeah, the 2-year-old should have. I'm sure they have. And again, we talked about a while back, or about a week or so ago. Last Thursday, they got called out for child abuse in the Moreno Valley involving the Haros. I think it was the 2-year-old. I really do. The Wicked Witch said that wasn't child cruelty. It was attempted homicide. He should be charged with homicide, not rewarded with a lesser sentence because his daughter is a survivor. Exactly. Because she's a little warrior and she survived. He got to walk instead of catching an attempted homicide charge, which is bullshit. Yeah, the judge does need to be put behind bars. Tanya in the D. Always Late said, in my opinion, everyone who hits a child in any way should have a felony charge. It makes no sense that an adult who hits another adult is charged, but people think it's okay to hit a child. I agree. I'll never understand what happened out there.
We were asked, or when the reporter
In that
asked him about
courtroom.
that sentence, of course, he said, he called it fair, but completely different from what we heard from the DA just yesterday. He was slamming that judge, and really, he didn't mince any words on that.
Nope.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got just seconds left, but I just want you to tell me what he shouted to his wife, Rebecca, because on Tuesday he said he saw her at court. What was that?
Yeah, so they've been separated this whole time. And when they arrived in court, they were put on opposite ends of the courtroom. And so apparently when he got off the elevator after the court appearance, he saw her, he shouted he loved her. And then he claims that's when a deputy allegedly shoved him to the ground. He said they, quote, launched him like he was a rag doll and that he re-injured his shoulder. So we obviously asked about that. They won't.
So he shouted to Rebecca, I love you. That's his way of keeping control over her. She's head over heels, like just brainwashed by him to all extents. And she's like, oh, he said he loved me. I know he's not going to turn me in for what I did or what I helped cover up. Oh, I got to keep sticking to my story. Like it's code to let her know to keep her mouth shut. I'm glad that they did that. His name is Dwight Moore. We need a tracking system for abusers, just like the ones that have SA charges. I agree. Kate, yep, I saw that case. I'm hoping that we are going to talk about it today. I think so, Nanny Goat. Yeah, I don't think he was launched like a rag doll either. Hey, Jen F. Yes. I have, I'm trying to get information on him. I tried to pull documents, but I wasn't able to get it yet. I'm trying to get the documents, but we'll talk about it today. Hey, Tink.
Talk about any of those claims. They refused to comment, but that's at least his account of what happened when he saw Rebecca.
I wonder if that's how it felt when that 10-week-old baby was being slammed around with broken bones and skull fractures, etc.
Good question.
Really curious. Jillian Smuckler, great reporting. Come back, will you?
Okay, we're going to jump over here. I was trying to find the jailhouse interview, and I saw this. It says Emmanuel Haro's dad, Jake, speaks out for the first time from jail. So I thought that we would read this real quick. Maybe we can move on to Reece next. So the brief of it is the father of a missing 7-month-old California baby who was charged with homicide spoke from jail for the first time, maintaining his innocence. The parents were arrested after investigators said their initial kidnapping report was false, but the baby's body has not been found. A judge previously gave the father a, quote, break, unquote, for unrelated 2023 child cruelty conviction, a decision a district attorney called outrageous, unquote. Jake and Rebecca Haro, the baby's mother, maintained their innocence. The two were arrested on August 22nd on suspicion of homicide of baby Emmanuel. Quote, "I love you, buddy," what they're saying. In an exclusive jailhouse interview with the Southern California News Group, Jake would not say if he led authorities to the Moreno Valley Badlands, but insisted he has been, quote, "completely cooperative," unquote. When asked about what he would say to baby Emmanuel today, he replied, quote, "I love you, buddy," which makes my stomach turn. Jake also spoke at length about his 2023 child cruelty conviction involving his then 10-week-old daughter, Carolina. He said he was, quote, "railroaded," unquote, into a plea after admitting he accidentally dropped his baby daughter. The 2018 child abuse case details dig deeper. During a press conference on August 27th, Riverside County District Attorney Mike Hestron discussed the 2018 incident involving Jake's daughter with another woman. The baby suffered several injuries, including a partial bone fracture of the skull and brain hemorrhage when he accidentally dropped her during bath time. Prosecutors said the injuries were the result of long-term abuse. Quote, "We believed it was a prison case that Jake Haro should have gone to prison," unquote, Hestron said. According to court documents obtained by People, one of the doctors who examined the baby later said that her condition could have been fatal if medical attention was not sought. In 2023, Jake struck a deal with prosecutors and entered a, and Lord have mercy, hold on. Where is it? In 2023, Jake struck a deal with prosecutors and entered a guilty plea to a single count of willful child neglect. Instead of sending Jake to prison, the judge chose to give him probation for 48 months. Hestron said his prosecutor objected to this decision and affirmed that it is a prison case. However, the judge decided that, quote, "Mr. Haro deserved an extra break." Break of his skull? Sorry. Quote, "That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job, as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today," unquote, Hestron added. We know the backstory. Hold on. I hate the way these things jump. On August 22nd, the Haros were taken into custody on suspicion of homicide at their home in Cabazon, 90 miles east of LA. Authorities searched the family's home, and over the weekend, they searched for the boy's body near a freeway while his father, wearing a gel jumpsuit, was present. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said it wouldn't describe Jake's presence during the search as, quote, "providing assistance," unquote, but declined to elaborate. The search for Emmanuel continues. Jake and Rebecca's next court date is September 4th. So we should know more when that court date comes. Oh, thank you, Jen F, for the super chat. Jen F said, "I could watch your intro again and again. Love the roosters or the chickens. I always find myself dancing for my dog." Oh, that was so sweet. I'm glad that you liked the intro. That was all. Thank you for that. That touches my heart. I'm glad that you like it. I play it in the beginning and then at the end of the videos. A lot of people don't like it, but I keep it for you guys. Thank you for the super chat and thank you for your kind words. That was very, very sweet of you. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that your dog likes it as well. I wish we did have 5 minutes in a room with him, Miss North. I would like to show him some of what he showed Carolina. I wish his pants caught on fire as well. Only need 30 seconds and the ability to bypass metal detection, right? Right? Kelly said, "What about when he violated his probation with firearm charges? Why wasn't he sent to prison for the suspended sentence?" That's the deal. Good question. But no, it was continued 16 times. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, you feel like it's worth asking? I wish they would. Hey, Ashton. Yeah, that was his court date, September 4th. Hey, Native Girl. Good to see you. I know that we have touched on Reece, and it is kind of related because it's kind of the same kind of charges. So maybe we can go ahead and talk about him. That sick monster who was a captain in the Army, I do believe it was. Hold on. It's not in this because I was doing more research into it and looking to try to see what I could find. So it's back here where I was looking at it last night. There it is. Let's talk about
when anyone got close.
Okay, so this piece of crap stain you see here was a captain in the Army, a teacher at a middle school, and had 2 beautiful twin babies. Nothing could go wrong, right? Sounds like the perfect person, the perfect, pillar in our society. A school math teacher, captain in the Army, I do believe is what it was, and had been blessed with 2 twin little babies. We're going to talk about this guy real quick before we move on. Listen to this.
Teacher is accused in a shocking case of abuse, allegedly against his own twin children who are just 6 weeks old. The infants went to the hospital with bruising and broken ribs, allegedly at the hands of their own dad. And not only is it shocking what he reportedly told police when they questioned him about the injuries, but even more shocking perhaps is what he told a reporter with the newspaper about what he allegedly did. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Broken ribs, and y'all, I was reading what broke my heart the most. And they're going to talk about it, is that when they got the babies to where they could finally eat again, they ravished that food. Them children were starving. They were starving them babies and getting mad at them for crying. He was, at least. I don't know about the mother.
These cases really strike a nerve.
They
because
do.
The victims are so young. And in this case, we're talking about twins and we're talking about babies, just 6 weeks old. And for as shocking and difficult as it is to talk about what the suspect in this case is accused of, it's also shocking what he allegedly told police and what he reportedly said to the local newspaper. This is the person who police say is responsible for what allegedly happened to those infants. His name is Reece Sorenson. He's 28 years old. Up until his arrest, he worked as a math teacher at a middle school in Salem, Oregon. Here's his name, still in the staff directory this morning for that school. The local newspaper, the Salem Reporter, who's been covering this story closely, they say he has since resigned from his position at the school since his arrest. Sorenson is also a captain in the U.S. Army. That's a position of leadership. He's an officer, but his most important job, one that police allege he completely failed at, is dad. Reece is a married father of 2 twins, a boy and a girl, and they were just 6 weeks old.
6 weeks old, little twins, blessed with little twins. And he did all this. How is that pulled up? I wanted to show y'all that. What did it do? I don't know how it went back. Okay, I did do the search, and I'm going to pull that up and show it to you, but I'm going to show you the document. Actually, Lord have mercy, I don't know what just happened. Okay, let me hush, and we'll finish watching this real quick.
At the time that this story took place, according to police, the Salem Reporter reviewed the police affidavit in this case, and here is what that affidavit reportedly says. Let's go back to August 10th. Because that is the day that police say they were called to the hospital because doctors noticed something was very wrong with the 2 children that were brought to them. The children were brought to the hospital that day in Salem, Oregon, because according to the affidavit reviewed by the newspaper, one of the infants was having a hard time swallowing. When doctors examined both children, they found those children were not only just bruised, they were severely malnourished. Now, the affidavit
So basically what's going on is the children are crying. He's obviously or evidently getting frustrated because the children are crying, and the babies are crying because they're fucking hungry. It was complete. I mean, as if it wasn't already obvious that it was completely avoidable with the fact that they're freaking 6 weeks old. It was completely avoidable in so many different ways.
David says that doctors noticed that the babies had bloodshot eyes, which their parents said was from vomiting. So doctors decided to examine these children further to see if anything was wrong. And this is what they reportedly found. One of Sorenson's children had 10 broken ribs. Doctors noted the babies flinched when anyone got close to them. Now the girl,
10 broken ribs, and a 6-week-old baby is flinching because they're afraid when anybody gets close to them. That tells me that more than likely, if I'm speculating, every time those babies were approached in the first 6 weeks of their life, they were hit. Because every time somebody approaches them, they're flinching at 6 fucking weeks old, thinking they're about to get hit. And they're malnourished. Like, what the? I cannot. And nope. I'm about to show you something else.
had bruises around her mouth. And here is what we are starting to learn about what Sorenson allegedly told police at the hospital, his side of the story, if you will, because he reportedly told detectives that he stuffed a rag into his 6-week-old daughter's mouth to stop her from crying and screaming, reportedly saying that he was tired and was, quote, at his wit's end. As for those,
feed them, give them a bottle, pat their little butt until they fall asleep. Oh my God, I can't. He was about to shove a rag in her mouth, or did shove a rag in her mouth. And the babies could have died. A rag, R-A-G, not a rat. Babies would have choked and died, suffocated.
broken ribs, Sorenson reportedly said that he put his fist into the child's stomach using his knuckles and force to help that child release gas. He also allegedly squeezed the child 5 to 10 times before his wife stopped him, the Salem Reporter says after reviewing that affidavit. Now, Sorenson's wife, who
Yeah, that's what I need to know about. You stopped him when he was probably punching a 6-week-old child, 3, 4, 5, 6-week-old child in the stomach. Then you decided to do something and stop him. That's when you decided you were going to step in real quick. I am livid. I wanted to show y'all this from when they were talking about his credentials. I found this, and this is what he says about himself. Reece Sorenson from Salem, Oregon, and his summary, to get a job, is basically what this is. He says he has a strong work ethic shaped by years of construction and military experience, background in business and education with a degree in business administration, and 3 years of experience in the Salem Kaiser Public School District, 2 years at Leslie Middle School as an instructional assistant, primarily working in math, science, and social study classes, and 1 year at Parish Middle School as a 6th grade math teacher. I'm going to go to this one. Volunteer experience includes being a buddy at Camp Attitude. Volunteer time at Hope Station Community Services, and 4 years as a small group leader in a church youth group. That's our pupil here that's doing all these freaking horrendous things to 6-week-old infants.
who is not facing charges in this story. It's
the mother who is not facing charges. Imagine that.
Stopped him, the Salem Reporter says after reviewing that affidavit. Now, Sorenson's wife, who is not facing charges in this story, it's unclear if she's under investigation, she reportedly said that Sorenson was very rough with the children and that she does not trust her husband to be around the babies alone. I think it's
You just now decided to do something after they had 10 broken ribs. They flinch when people approached him. You saw him putting his fist into their stomach, and they're so malnourished that when the nurses gave them a bottle, they ravished it like they'd never eaten before in their fucking lives. Stop. Now you want to say something? Because it looks like it's to save face.
Important to talk about just how young these kids are, because not only are they unable to defend themselves, but these children at 6 weeks old, Sorenson's been a dad for a month and a half. That is it. And he already has a reputation in his own home of being too rough with the kids and having a reputation that his wife says she does not trust him to be around the children alone. This is just after a month and a half of parenting. I find that so shocking. Now, even though his wife doesn't feel like it's safe for him to be around children and the list of alleged injuries to his kids that I just told you, Sorenson is out of jail. He was released from jail the following day after his arrest. And according to
what? So we got another Jake Haro here. This is another Jake Haro. He's released from jail after he's arrested because it's not an attempted homicide charge, I'm assuming. Because if it was an attempted homicide charge, I think he'd still be in jail.
The Salem Reporter, it was because his charges just did not meet the criteria to keep him in jail longer. So he is currently out, but some of the conditions are reportedly that he cannot have communication or contact with his kids. Now, his charges originally were 2 counts of third-degree assault and a count of strangulation, as well as a count of criminal mistreatment. He is now charged with 5 counts of first-degree criminal mistreatment and a charge of unlawful use of a weapon. Now, Sorenson.
Unlawful use of a weapon. Just Breathe 187 said this doesn't make sense. Where was she at? How is she not charged? Great question. Great fucking question. I would love to know where she's at. This is no. I'm not talking about Rebecca. I'm talking about this man's wife. This man had 2 6-week-old twins who were taken to the hospital with 10 broken ribs. They flinched when people approached them. We're talking about his wife is not facing charges because basically, if I'm going to speculate, what happened was she saw this shit happen and didn't have a problem with it because remember, when the babies are approached, they're flinching. Like if anybody approaches them, which again tells me that every time they were approached, they were hit. Okay. So what I think happened is they got caught. She threw him under the bus and said, I don't want him around my children because he's going to hurt my children. But she had to be there the whole time and see what was going on and not do a fucking thing about it. She needs to be charged.
Doesn't appear to be denying much of what I just read to you that police alleged, because he spoke to the Salem Reporter newspaper. He said that he's working to get better, that he started to get help by taking counseling classes after his arrest. So in some way.
Oh, no, Jake is not out of jail. Renee is out of jail. This is Renee Sorenson. Renee Sorenson is out of jail. Not Jake Haro, but this is Jake Haro 2.0. I apologize if I confused anybody with the comparison.
Ways you could look at that and say that this is someone who is trying to accept responsibility, but we'll see what the legal system says about that when he is due in court next month. He also reportedly told detectives that he has an anger issue and easily gets frustrated with his twins that came into this world a month and a half ago. Sorenson's next due in court September 4th. As for those baby twins, the boy and the girl, they are out of the hospital, according to the Salem Reporter. Joining us now to talk about this is retired NYPD Detective David Sarney. Thanks.
So we're going to jump over to this article. Reece, not Renee. I said Renee. I've done that a couple of times. I apologize. This article reads, Oregon middle school math teacher accused of starving and abusing his 6-week-old twins. And this says a middle school math teacher in Salem, Oregon was arrested for allegedly starving and abusing his 6-week-old twins, according to authorities. Reece Sorenson, who is 28 years old, who is also a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve and a teacher at Parish Middle School in Salem, was taken into custody on August 13th according to the Salem Reporter. His 2 infants were found severely malnourished and bruised, according to KATU, and there he is. The baby girl was brought to the hospital for difficulty swallowing when Sorenson allegedly admitted to investigators that he had stuffed a rag into the baby's mouth to stop her crying, KATU reported. A medical examination revealed the girl had bruising and bleeding under her tongue from the rag being shoved in her mouth. The baby boy had bruises around his eyes and multiple rib fractures, the report stated. Sorenson allegedly told investigators he squeezed the boy with his forearm and pressed his knuckles into the baby's stomach to get him to stop crying. Both children were severely malnourished, with hospital staff reporting they flinched when approached for feeding, KATU reported. Staff at Salem Hospital described them as, quote, ravenous and starving, unquote, when they were finally eating. This is insane. If his brothers in the army hear about this, I don't think they're going to be protecting him. It continues, the middle school teacher's wife has corroborated all the allegations, KATU stated. So that means she saw all of it and didn't do a fucking thing. Again, to me, she's saving face. She's saying, oh, he did all that. He did all that. I don't want him around my children. He did all that. But you didn't say a fucking thing the whole time it was happening. For a fucking 6-week-old baby, a month-and-a-half-old baby to flinch every time somebody comes close to it, the only thing that baby knows is being smacked or hit or hurt when approached by an adult. That's both the adults. They both need to be charged. That pisses me off that she's not being charged. Sorenson was placed on administrative leave with the Salem Kaiser School District on August 18th, according to the Salem Reporter. He faces 5 charges of first-degree criminal mistreatment and 1 charge of unlawful use of a weapon for the alleged abuse, court records show. I would love to know what the weapon is. Like, are they saying his fist was a weapon? And it makes me think that the babies might have had colic. Now, my son had colic, and he would, it is sad, it's scary, I was scared, though. Yes, it was frustrating. I didn't get very much sleep. He only slept for about 30 minutes to an hour a day when he wasn't crying, and we had to go through all the different milks and figure it out. But what we would do is I would sleep, and then my husband at the time would sleep. Like we would take him back and forth, and I would get a little bit of sleep and he would get a little bit of sleep. And we would do it like that until we could figure everything out. I used to hold him and I would cry myself. But you got to get through it. You got to figure it out. Go to the hospital. Ask somebody for help. Go to damn Department of Social Services. I don't know, dude. Figure it out. I can't. I wish somebody would hurt them the way they hurt them babies. Them babies didn't ask to be here. Them babies didn't. Y'all, I'm so frustrated. Okay. The dad was released from prison, actually, more than likely jail, on August 14th and has a no contact order with his children. Sorenson has claimed to have turned over a new leaf since these charges. I bet you motherfucking have. Saying, quote, I know what I did, and I completely regret doing it, and I regretted doing it before all the consequences have started coming down on me. Like, that's not who I am. That was a mistake, unquote, Sorenson told the Salem Reporter. He claimed in those comments to be taking counseling classes and, quote, getting better, unquote, at managing his anger. Sorenson's teaching license expires on August 31st, according to the Salem Reporter. According to his LinkedIn profile, Sorenson is a platoon leader in the U.S. Army Reserve. Yeah, that man is who he is. I hope they keep him away from all children ever. My ex would call me at work when he was watching the baby for a few hours and the baby wouldn't stop crying. I was really scared he would do something to my baby. He had no patience. It's hard, but like, I mean, if it's getting to you to that extent, if like you really are not able to sleep at all because the babies aren't sleeping and you have no help whatsoever, call Department of Social Services. Like, tell them, I can't sleep. I don't know what to do. I need help. Call the doctor. I can't sleep. The babies can't sleep. I don't know what to do. I need help. Call somebody until somebody tells you what to do. Call everybody. Call the church. Call your politician. I don't know. Call anybody and everybody. Somebody's going to help you. I can't with these people. Stated Army captain. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, and it's hard. Having kids, it's hard. And I'm sorry you went through that, Ruby. It's hard, but like you got to figure it out. Like, and that baby didn't ask to be here. That baby's not crying because it likes getting on your nerves. The baby's crying because the baby's hurting. Try to figure it out. Stop the pain. Take melatonin. Something. Go to the hospital. Like, and think about before having kids. I know I couldn't handle it 24/7, right? Milky Way girl, I'm glad that you can admit that. Some people can't. JD Delay, I don't know if he will. I took in a 14-day-old baby boy and he was very abused. I ended up adopting him and now he's 14 and healthy. That's amazing, Roberta, and thank you for doing that. I had 4. It was extremely hard. Yep. I've got 4 bonus children that are all like about a year apart. And I came in when the youngest one was about 2 months old. It was very hard. But, we got through it and they're all very healthy and very happy. I had to beg friends to come by the house and check on my baby because my ex would call me at work screaming that the baby wouldn't shut up. Some men have no self-control. Some men are just overgrown children. Always Late said, I'm so sick of hearing people mistreating their kids. They have to come up with stiff. Are you okay? Basil? With stiffer laws for people who hurt their children. It should be automatic life in prison without no possibility of parole. I agree. Something needs to happen to make this shit stop because it's absolutely infuriating. So I'm going to keep an eye on this case and see what I can find out more about this Renee Sorenson and what happens. Because to be honest with you, I don't give a shit if he says, I know what I did and I completely regret doing it. And I regretted doing it before all the consequences had started coming down on me. Like that's not who I am. That was a mistake. Bull motherfucking shit. Bull motherfucking shit. You knew, I mean, obviously you got some kind of career in the Army, so you're not all the way, dense in the head. And you knew when you shoved a rag in a baby's mouth that the baby could suffocate and die. And you shoved it in her mouth so hard that she had bruising under her fucking tongue and bleeding. The baby's, no, bullshit. I call bullshit on all of it. Complete and utter.
Yeah. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
It's all bullshit. All right. Let me get that piece of work. Yeah, castration would be good. It is what it is. Good to see you. My daughter had colic and it drove us crazy until her pediatrician figured out she was lactose intolerant. We switched her formula and it was like night and day. My son had colic and we switched formula. We tried every formula that they could that they made and none of it worked. And I'll tell you what, there was old wives' tales that said to take a clean sock. I remember going to Walmart and buying brand new socks and you put an onion in it and you boil the onion in the water and you put that water and mix the baby formula with it or use it, give them some of that water. I tried that. Pet milk, evaporated milk. We tried that, even though you're not supposed to, because I had went through all the formula. Nothing was working. He slept for maybe an hour a day on and off in 15-minute intervals. And that's all day and all night. Nothing would work. And then somebody told me to take Cairo syrup, light Cairo syrup, not the dark, but the light Cairo syrup, and put just a little bit in his formula. And I did that, and then it was like night and day. Cairo syrup was the only thing that made him stop crying. And then I could finally sleep. And it was 3-4 months it took us to figure all that out. Yeah, right. Like at that point, I tried anything. I was like, nothing the doctor tells me is working. So we tried whatever, and the Cairo syrup is what did it. All right. So now we have, we talked a little bit about Travis DECKER and them closing off the areas that they had already searched, looking for clues they might have missed close to the campground and the camping areas where he took the lives of his 3 beautiful little girls. Yeah. In the beginning of June, I think end of May, beginning of June, Olivia, Evelyn, and Peyton DECKER. Okay. Well, since they've closed off that area, they have recovered potential evidence. So we're going to find out what that is. The article reads, oh, we might have a video. Yep, we do. Okay. Hold on.
A very disturbing story. We have new developments in the search for a man suspected of killing 3 young daughters in Washington state. Travis DECKER has been on the run since early June. Officials say DNA evidence links him to the crime, and he is considered armed and dangerous. Searchers are now back in the rugged wilderness where the children's bodies were found. Elise Preston has more.
For nearly 3 months, federal, state, and local personnel have fanned out across the mountainous wooded areas near Leavenworth, Washington, looking for Travis DECKER, a military veteran accused of suffocating his 3 daughters, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia.
We don't get frustrated, though. We're not going to give up. We understand this could take years.
On Monday, the FBI said it was leading search teams back to the location where the girls' bodies and DECKER's vehicle were found on June 2nd.
And we watched about the video where we watched a press conference where they were talking about doing that. I've been real curious as to if they're going to find his body there, because his body's either there or he got away. I really want to know which one it is. If it's his body's there or if he actually got away with everything he did.
Near the Rock Island campground in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. Authorities say the move was not because of any new break in the case.
Currently, we have no evidence that Travis DECKER is alive or dead.
The multi-agency team conducted a grid search across a quarter-mile radius surrounding the campground.
You can't be too thorough in a search like this. Like I said, it is such incredibly dense vegetation that anybody who walks down one of these trails could walk 10 meters off the trail and no one would ever know they're there.
Yeah, so always late said my youngest had colic, and the only thing that would soothe her is to put her on top of the dryer in her car seat and turn the dryer on. We did this for months, standing by the dryer for hours. I used to drive around, and sometimes that would work. I was looking for this. Cindy said, never give an infant under 12 months honey or Cairo due to high risk of botulism. Give infant probiotics instead to balance the gut. I don't know if that time we had really dug into probiotics, and I probably should have tried that. But like, the only reason that I did that is because you got to understand, like, they prescribed every single type of formula there was. And the doctor looked at me and said, I don't know what else to do to make him stop crying. And I said, I don't either. And we can't sleep. I don't know what to do. So then that's when it became old wives' tales. And a lot of times the onion water will work. We even tried evaporated milk. I was scared to death giving my child that was, a couple of months old evaporated milk. I didn't want to do it. But I tried, it didn't work, and I didn't want to do the Cairo syrup because I knew there was a risk of it. But it's like at that point, I didn't know what else to do. And when it worked, it worked. And we were finally able to sleep after months, like 3-4 months of this going on. I definitely would not advise doing it. I would advise figuring out something else. But at that point in time, back in that day, 20 years, well, about 15 years ago, I had to do something. But definitely do not do that. Please seek medical professional advice.
U.S. Marshal Service is offering a $20,000 award for information leading to Decker's capture.
This is a beautiful area in which a heinous crime occurred. We are here to seek justice for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Elise Preston.
I will never understand how a parent can kill their kids. Never.
I don't understand how they could hurt them either, but that didn't give us a lot of information. So let's see if this does. I've got a couple of articles. This says the Federal Bureau of Investigation said it found, quote, potential evidence, unquote, during a search operation in Washington state amid the manhunt for Travis Decker, the father accused of killing his 3 daughters before disappearing into the wilderness. The FBI said on Monday that it was conducting a 2-day grid search near Rock Island Campground in Leavenworth, Washington, an area that has extremely high vegetation. Nearly 100 personnel members, including specialty search teams, took part in the search, the agency said. FBI Seattle Special Agent Charge W. Mike Harrington said that the goal of the search was to locate Decker, find signs of his whereabouts, or gather more evidence. CBS affiliate reported. Crews searched about 250 acres, Harrington said, even going beyond the planned perimeter using his electronic mapping to track their efforts. Harrington said that the team found, quote, several items, unquote, that are being analyzed to determine whether they are connected to the case, KIRO reported. Quote, finding this potential evidence emphasizes the value in having various teams search an area multiple times, especially in such challenging conditions, unquote, Harrington said. He didn't give any details about the recovered items. Decker is wanted for 3 counts of homicide in the first degree and 3 counts of kidnapping. He has been wanted since he failed to return his daughters, Peyton 9, Evelyn 8, and Olivia 5, after the planned visitation, prompting their mothers to call police. The girls' bodies were found in his truck. No, they weren't. The girls' bodies were found on an embankment close to his truck near the Rock Island Campground on June 2nd. DNA testing confirmed that Decker is the sole suspect in their homicides. Decker, a former Army soldier and wilderness survivalist, has not been seen since Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison said in a statement on Monday that there is no... Okay, he hasn't been seen since. And then Sheriff Mike Morrison said there's no conclusive evidence to indicate if Decker is alive or dead. Photos showing how he may have changed his appearance have been released, and a reward of up to $20,000 is being offered for information leading to his arrest. Now we're going to talk about specifically what they found. Hold on. Let's see. This one says several items. They talk about finding bones. And I thought I had that one. Several items. They said finding this potential evidence emphasizes the value of having search teams search multiple times. Let me find the one about bones. Hold on. Just a minute. Dang, did I not send it to myself? Let me go to Google real quick. Sorry about that. Hold on just a minute. Got too many tabs up. Nope. Okay. Yep, this one's from 46 minutes ago. Here we go. Bones found during FBI search for triple homicide suspect Travis Decker. And I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read the important part. It says the FBI search for Travis Decker, a Wenatchee man accused of killing his 3 daughters at a campground near Leavenworth, has turned up bones. Quote, the bones were found during a grid search of the 100 personnel, etc. It was inconclusive at the time if they were animal or human. So it was sent off to Central Washington University and their anthropology department to do a confirmation, unquote. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison told KOMO News over the phone on Friday. If the bones are determined to be human, further testing will be conducted. The FBI Seattle office led the latest search around the Rock Island campground along Icicle Creek in difficult and rugged terrain. The girls were found deceased on June 2nd. Bags were placed over their head and their wrists were zip tied. And the latest effort in the months-long search involves 100 personnel working under the FBI. They said they would first conduct a thorough grid search within a mile of the crime scene, saying, quote, the areas being searched are extremely challenging with steep hillsides, dense brush, minimal cell service, and unpredictable conditions. Over the past 3 months, investigative teams led by your sheriff's office investigative unit have pursued every lead and searched vast remote areas in the hope of locating Travis Decker or any evidence that might bring us closer to answers. This has been a painstaking and difficult task, and I want to personally commend all involved for their dedication. Morrison said there is no evidence indicating whether Decker is dead or alive, but the search will continue until every possible avenue has been exhausted and authorities can bring closure to the case. Yes, he has survivalist skills. Hey, Shraddha and Peaches. Yeah, he's either dead or he's alive. We don't know which. So I'm going to do a poll real quick. I'm just going to ask, do you think he's deceased? Well, I'll do it alive and you can answer yes or no. I wish they would let us, dang it, hold on. I wish they would let us ask, like, questions that didn't have a yes or no answer. Okay. You hope it's not him? Y'all think just a lot of money wasted on him? Some people think he's in Canada. He was a Green Beret. I know law enforcement wants to normalize him, but he was highly trained in the military. He was a paratrooper, plus had active duty. He would only have issues maybe in the dead of winter. Well, I think he was trying to be a Green Beret because that's what his dad was, but wasn't ever able to quite get there. But he has seen combat, evidently, in Afghanistan. Or he went there. I think he needs to be brought to justice. And I don't know that. I think he's still alive, honestly. That's my thought on it. Yeah, I think that, I think he's possibly still alive. I do. Okay. So we're going to go back to YouTube. Nope, not that one. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, hold on. People, I got 64% saying, yes, you think he's still alive as of right now. Okay. I did see this update on Sebastian Rogers that I wanted to share with y'all real quick. So this is from 2 days ago. If you don't know who Sebastian Rogers is, Sebastian Rogers disappeared in the middle of the night. Allegedly His mother sent him to bed, heard a thump, and then at 6 o'clock in the morning, he was nowhere to be found. In a neighborhood where there's a lot of cameras, he just vanished into the middle of the night, and nobody's been able to find him since. There has been a lot of drama surrounding this case. That's why I don't usually talk about it. But I did see this update. I wanted to share it in case you guys didn't know about it. So here we go. Hold on.
Disappeared from 1.5 years since 15-year-old Sebastian.
Wow, it's been 1.5 years? I didn't realize it. That it had been 1.5 years. You don't think he's alive? I hope he is. Oh, you're talking about Decker. You don't think Decker's alive? That's what Chandra Vander Ark said too. Hey, Shiz. Hey, everybody coming in. 1.5 years. I didn't realize it had been 1.5 years. Dang.
Marks 1.5 years since 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Hendersonville home.
And since then, his father says he's had no answers from investigators. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry shows us what he's doing this week to change that.
I'd like to know where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is.
He deserves to be at home.
I think if anybody knew where he was, they would tell you. Is there a chance she's having bad PTSD episode and the girls were enemies in his eyes? I think so, yeah. They said that Travis Decker had borderline personality disorder, and they think that's what happened. He was a member of the military, and he was asking for help, mental health services, and he did not get them. A lot of people feel like if he had gotten them, that the girls might be here. Oh, no, that's my rooster, Shraddha. I have a rooster outside. Becky said, I don't think Decker is alive. He would have been seen by now unless someone is helping him. I'm not so sure.
He deserves to be around somebody that loves him.
Sebastian Rogers vanished in February 2024. Search efforts stretched across Sumner County, bringing in the TBI, FBI, and multiple local agencies. But after a little over a week, Sumner County Sheriff's Office announced they were scaling back and shifting their focus on the investigative side. Since March of last year, the Sheriff's Office hasn't held a press conference on the case. And Seth Rogers, the father of Sebastian, says his calls to investigators have gone unanswered.
They won't speak.
Okay. I've already got an issue. Hold on.
Office hasn't held a press conference.
Where's his entourage? I think that Sebastian was lured out by some freak online as well. Where's Seth's entourage? Like, where's Bullhorn Betty and Tony and all the people who supported him? Why are they letting him be out there by himself now? I would love for somebody to tell me that.
On the case. And Seth Rogers, the father of Sebastian, says his calls to investigators have gone unanswered.
They won't speak to me since I sent them an email telling them about 15 things they needed to check. And if they hadn't done it, then you haven't done your job.
1.5 years later.
Well, okay. Cara, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so very much. Those memberships went to Life's a Beach, Val, Sweet Bomb, Maria Paz, Dawn S, Butterfly Girl, Steelers Princess, Melinda Moon, KK74, and Thomas McCarthy. Thank you so much, Cara. I really appreciate you doing that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so much. I'm going to grab the Polar Express to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you again, Cara. Thank you again, Cara. So what happened? Mr. and Mrs. E were there and a few others. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I was kind of pissed off and upset because I don't agree with a lot of things that happened in that case on some aspects of it, okay? But I don't think that after everything that happened that everybody should just walk away from him and leave him out there searching alone. Like after they took his money, after they took the publicity from everything, they just walk away and leave him searching by himself. Like I don't like that. I'm sorry, I don't. Kate, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. That was so very sweet of you. I really appreciate that. Those went to Ruby, Tracy King, Robin, Shannon Donaldson, and Richie Rich. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. I really appreciate that. I will grab the crazy train to pick our new members up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I saw it right before I clicked. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, sorry. I saw somebody that said, is he searching? That's a good question. I don't know if he's necessarily searching, but I felt like he got, regardless of his decisions, even though I don't agree with them, I felt like he kind of got used for the publicity of it, and now they walked away from him. And that kind of upsets me. Hands and feet inside the train, please. Kalisa said, in my opinion, Sebastian either met someone he was talking to online or his body will be found nearby. He argued with Katie and was locked out of the house and ran away, in my opinion. You think so? Yeah, after they sued people, right. After they got the money and went down that stupid-ass road and made those stupid-ass decisions, everybody walks away. I don't know. A lot of people want to holler injustice behind a screen, but are not willing to actually go out when they could have, in my opinion. I agree with that. Oh, I think he was lured out too. And thank you guys again for gifting. I really appreciate it. Yeah, everybody who was gifted by Kate, please tell her thank you. And everybody else. Sorry if I got sidetracked. There's a lot going on at home right now too. Cowgirl, good to see you. They are gonna love Reece in prison. Hey, Alyssa. Working but listening. Thank you. Yeah, everybody make sure your gifts are enabled. Okay.
Seth Rogers says he still has had no answers from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and that's why he's out here today, demanding to know an update to his son's case.
While you up there in that office, I hope you're working on finding my son, because I'm waiting.
With a microphone in hand, joined by friends and supporters holding signs reading "Justice for Sebastian," Seth says he won't stop.
I don't get to take my son hunting or fishing. I don't get to play video games with him. I don't get to play cards. I don't get to watch movies. I get nothing while you're up there in your office.
We just want Sumner County to do something different to get different results.
Even retiring Sumner County District Attorney Ray Whitley says he is anxious to see this case solved.
There is more work to be done, and certainly we want to have answers at some point, and I hope and pray that we do.
But Seth says until that happens, he is not leaving. He plans to stand outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office every day this week, and for, quote, as long as it takes. He's asking for the community to join him.
Do you expect your children to be safe? Because for the last year and a half, my son isn't. And he's not doing his job to get it done.
News. It's a hard one, okay, because I couldn't imagine if one of my children were missing. I would feel like they're not doing enough. They can't tell me what happened. Nobody cares. Everybody moves on with their lives, and nobody cares about me, my child that's missing. And why haven't you arrested somebody? What are you doing to find my child? Like, I get why he feels that way. I do. I don't claim to understand, because again, I don't have a child that's missing, and I do feel bad for it. Like, I don't know what I would do. I might be doing the exact same thing as far as standing out there. I wouldn't have got involved in a litigation and all that, but standing outside the sheriff's office kind of protesting, I maybe possibly. I know that a lot of people have a lot of different theories about what happened to Sebastian. And I honestly think if it had anything to do with any of the parents, that there would have been an arrest made by now. But I could always be wrong. I think he was lured out of that house. And I hope that they find him, and I hope that he's alive. I've heard recently that people are catching predators on Roblox, and like Roblox is not doing anything about it, but these people that are catching predators on Roblox are turning them in, and it made me think of Sebastian. Right, and like Roberta said, you have to have evidence to do anything. Like you can't just go around arresting people. You got to have the evidence. You're absolutely right. Kalisa said, makes me sad Seth is almost alone out there. I hope he gets more support than we are seeing here. I do too. I mean, it makes me, I'm kind of pissed off about that all these people were backing him up and 100% team Sebastian, and now there's nobody. And I knew it was going to happen, just like it always does, but it's just kind of sad to see. Miss North says, see, where I have the biggest issue with him is probably if Sebastian was lured online, it probably happened to Seth. Sebastian was alone on the weekends and Seth was sleeping. I agree. It's a hard one. Excuse me. It's a hard one. I'm sorry, Ava, for what you're going through. Kate said, I think either lured away online or they overlooked it too quickly, or kids at school. Wouldn't be the first time for that either, sadly. But I really feel he was lured somehow. I do too. I do too. Yeah, I do really feel sorry for him. Yep, they used him, and now the money is gone, and he's standing out there alone protesting by himself. After one of them got a restraining order against him and Sebastian's name tattooed on her body. Like, where's her big ass mouth at? I'm sorry. Let me hush.
To reach out to the Sumner County Sheriff for a statement. He says this is still an active investigation and the department is continuing to follow leads in coordination with the FBI and TBI.
Oh, wow.
If you have any information regarding Sebastian Rogers' whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Haley.
Hey guys, so I'm in Minneapolis.
So yeah, Kalisa said, I literally had a 35-year-old man show up at my house. Apparently my daughter had been talking to friends online. She was 12. And if I hadn't been home, he may have kidnapped her, and the FBI investigated it. That's crazy. I'm sorry you dealt with that. I'm glad that they investigated it and hopefully shut it down. He then said, I feel like I'd be doing exactly what he's doing. God help me that I never have to find out how I'd react. Yeah. Like, I can't say I'd know what I'd be doing, because I might be doing the exact same thing. You think Katie knows? I always wondered why there wasn't a video of him coming out of the restaurant before they headed home. They had to have video of the parking lot, unless I missed it. They did. There is a video out there of him in the parking lot getting in the vehicle from the steakhouse. You think the mom and stepdad? No. Hey, these nuts. Scratch said, I hear they have footage of someone on the property at the time that he was taking out the garbage. Really? See, if they had that, I would think that they would be able to arrest somebody or something. Where you have the option to communicate with strangers, kid bypass parental controls all the time. And there were videos on YouTube, kids on how to do it. I believe it. There is a lot. You think they have a lot of money? I don't know how much they raised. But the thing is, since this frivolous lawsuit that everybody, allegedly, in my opinion, that everybody decided to take part in didn't go the way they planned, nobody wants to be around him anymore. That was on that paperwork because they're scared they're going to have to shell out money now after acting an ass. All right, so I saw something else. I think that was what my headline stories were about. I did want to talk about the sheriff and the judge again, but I want to show you this real quick before we go there. I saw this yesterday. It's NBC, the Bay Area, criminal probe into bruises on babies at Oakland Hospital. I saw this and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? So let's see what's going on over here.
3 babies mysteriously bruised at UCSF's intensive care unit. The hospital became the center of a criminal investigation in which one nurse was identified as a possible suspect, but was never charged.
Tonight. What? Why are we got bruises on babies and then there's a nurse who could be doing it, but that's not charged? Hey, Bella.
One family is speaking out to us, telling our investigative reporter, Hilda Gutierrez, they want answers and accountability.
Baby Levi is now a healthy, happy toddler playing with his parents, Lynn Pham and Eric Higuera. He's come a long way in 2 years after spending the first months of his life in the hospital.
What was your first impression? I've never seen anything so tiny in my life. He was so tiny. Like, I was very scared for his life. I wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not.
Oh my goodness.
Levi was born premature with a liver mass and was transferred to UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital in Oakland for specialized care in the NICU.
At that point, we didn't really think anything was wrong. And
Do you see how little he is? Look at that baby. Oh my goodness. Isn't he adorable? Yeah, I don't like that shit either. Okay, Peaches, I hope that he has a good doctor's appointment. Isn't he precious? Poor baby.
we didn't really think anything was wrong and he was progressing. So, we were hopeful that he was in good hands.
So my husband, he saw the bruising first.
In November of 2023, a few months into Levi's stay at the hospital, during a visit, his parents say they noticed dark marks up and down his arm, bruising that appeared overnight.
What? That's a freaking handprint. Y'all, on them babies in the NICU? Are you freaking kidding me? Hell no. That nurse needs to be charged immediately.
For him to be that small and have that type of bruising, it's really concerning to me.
We've seen him get IVs put in him, and we've seen him have to get held down, to make those things happen. And even when it seemed to be super rough for them to be able to do those things, he never had any issues with bruising. I immediately requested for it to be investigated.
So what did they ultimately tell you at the hospital? I remember this because it makes me so upset, because they said to us, we're probably never going to find an answer.
Weeks later, UCSF police showed up at their door. The hospital and police declined to comment on the case, but more than 100 pages of police records echo the family's claims. The testimonies revealed 2 other babies in the NICU had also suffered unexplained bruising, all within the same week as Levi.
Y'all, in the same week as this baby is, I'd sue the fuck out of somebody too. And again, okay, you got to think about these babies are specifically in the NICU, which means that they've got some issues going on, and they're constantly being poked and prodded with needles and shit, like changing IVs or moving them this way while all of the shit is hooked up to them, and that shit hurts. And then so they're having to hold them down, which you would probably get a fight out of me holding my baby down just to change an IV or something. You probably have some issues out of me, number one. But number two, to find out, even though that child is fighting for their life in the NICU and having to go through all the bullshit of being hurt when they have to change the IV to make sure that the area is staying clean, or draw blood or move them around with all this equipment hooked up to them, Even at all that, they're holding them down or they've got bruises on them. Hell no. They should have video cameras. Yeah, I'd be in prison too. That's when I found out about him. I didn't like him and she didn't marry him. Thank God. Thank God, Ruby. Okay, Hannah, have a good day, love. I don't think so. That bruise looked like a handprint bruise. Like where somebody grabbed him and like, I don't know. But anyway, there's a 100-page report saying multiple infants had suffered contusions to their extremities. Infants in the NICU.
It was the hospital's own NICU manager who called police to report possible child abuse.
This is the only source we can understand this whole story is from the investigation. We have to read it. But it's like a stab. It's like a stab in the heart every time.
One infant.
Oh my God. So yeah, they're reading these reports and finding out about everything. And I couldn't imagine reading a police report and it having to do with my own child, you know?
Every time.
One infant had a curved red mark on their forearm, according to the police report. The other, multiple red marks on his left leg.
UCSF police interviewed more than 30 nurses and doctors at the hospital. Some said bruising can sometimes be the result of a medical procedure, but time after time, hospital staff were shocked by the photos and couldn't explain how the children were injured.
And I mean, again, it's hard for me because these are babies that are like small, premature, not all the way, you know, their lungs aren't all the way developed and things like that. These are little itty bitty babies. Not normal, I don't want to use the word normal, but like full term, you know, baby. These are like little, like, you know, you've seen premature babies that will fit in your hand and things. These are little itty bitty babies.
Babies don't usually bruise like that. It would take a lot to do this, one nurse told police.
Yep.
These are all awful. They turn your stomach. If I was a parent and I walked in and I saw this, I'd be hot, another nurse said.
You'd expect a really high bar set for a place that specializes in children, and we just want accountability.
Police also consulted the hospital's own child abuse expert, Dr. Crawford Jakubiak. He said 2 of the babies had the kind of bruise pattern that you see when someone squeezes something very hard. And
this would never happen by accident. Who's squeezing the shit out of these babies? Oh, Earth Angel, good to see you. See, yeah, like a 4-pound baby. You know what I mean? With bruises on them. And then, I mean, this infant, because they're so little and they need this medical attention, all the infant knows is like having all this equipment hooked up to them and the IVs changed and the blood drawn. So, yeah, they're probably not going to want you to do all that because that shit does hurt. And then you find out all this is going on. Earth said, I'm thinking it was the phlebotomist tech. I've seen this from the lab draw staff before. Interesting. You're an ER nurse? Yeah, they can't even cry for help. He had dwarfism. He was super tiny. Oh. Yeah, it makes it worse because you're talking about little 4-pound babies and things.
that this will never happen by accident.
They ruled out medical equipment. They ruled out any possibilities of past medical history. And like for him, he explained it like it was a vice grip.
Investigators ultimately zeroed in on one hospital intensive care nurse who had been caring for Levi and the other babies when they were injured, according to the police report. The investigation concluded probable cause exists to arrest her for misdemeanor corporal injury upon a child and misdemeanor child endangerment.
It says, due to the findings of this investigation, I believe probable cause exists to arrest the person for violations of penal code corporal injury upon a child. That means hitting, or I guess squeezing, child endangerment. In accordance with these findings and UCSF PD General Order, Alternatives to Arrest, I recommend this case be closed and referred to the UCSF PD Investigations Unit for District Attorney review and final disposition. Why did they close the case? Why are they saying that they want the case closed? She needs to be investigated. Yeah, any other hospital, like if they're going to close the case, then she could go to another hospital and her other babies. Yeah, holding them way too dang hard, holding them down and things. I can't. Earth said that's fingerprints. The bloodline goes around the tip of the fingers where she held the arm too damn hard. That's what it looked like to me. Aren't they, Dandy? I mean, could you imagine a little itty bitty baby in the NICU?
We aren't naming the nurse because she was never arrested or charged with a crime. We couldn't.
She wasn't arrested or charged with a crime. The fuck you mean?
Reach her for comment, but she denied any wrongdoing to police, saying we didn't mishandle that baby.
Wow.
Levi still goes to UCSF for follow-up care, but his parents say the hospital never explained what happened to their son.
This has affected you tremendously.
Yes. I've lost sleep since knowing about all this thing.
Look, let me tell you something. If I go in there and I see my baby has bruising like that and they're in the NICU, I'm probably not going to, I'm going to be sleeping in the NICU. I tell you that. I'm not leaving my baby alone. Like, you're going to have to arrest me and drag me out of that hospital. Yeah, hell yeah, I'd be losing some sleep. Somebody might be losing the ability to see because I'm going to punch him in the face. Earth Angel said, we have a lab tech with attitude, young, investigated too for taking a freaking heel chunk out of a newborn's foot in front of the parents. She was mad and used the wrong end of the blade heel stick. Jesus. I hope she got charged. That is some sick shit. She's got a special place in hell. I agree. Okay, Blue Jay, have a good day, love. Mama Mia said you have doctors and nurses that wanted to be those, and then you have so many that didn't choose the professions because their parents made them. It's a sad thing. Key here is lab who holds them on the arm and leg, heel stick and finger stick for newborns. She's still working today. Wow. Yeah, the gas egg works good sometimes. So many medical professionals that didn't want their profession because of parents. Yep. Yeah, they don't allow you to stay in the NICU. That's why I'm saying somebody probably would have got punched in the face. If you'd have told me I couldn't stay in the NICU and my child was having bruising like that, I'm probably going to get arrested.
Just trying to find answers, looking up ways to get in contact with anyone.
UCSF police also asked the hospital to investigate the nurse for a possible HIPAA violation. According to the report, she accessed Levi's medical files when she was no longer part of his care team. UCSF wouldn't comment, but we confirmed the nurse still works at the hospital. I'm Hilda Gutierrez.
Oh, not only is she still working, she's still working at that hospital after accessing the baby's criminal records when he was no longer in her care, which is also a criminal charge. Imagine the fuck out of that. Imagine that. What is the world coming to? Still at the same hospital. But it's this year, so I'm sure legal is coming because the parents are attorneys. I hope so. Usually what happens in cases like that, because I've been working in the hospital in the NICUs in the PICU units, that when they have a problem, the case is closed by the hospital. Imagine that. Right? It is a HIPAA violation to go through the chart when she's not on his care anymore, but evidently it don't fucking matter. Evidently it don't fucking matter. She's still there, probably working in the same unit. I can't. I don't know how, if the baby is fighting you or flinching, it's because that's the baby's natural instinct, because what you're doing is painful when you're drawing blood or whatever. Like, I get that you have a job to do and you have to draw blood and things like that to check things to make sure the baby's okay. I get it. But like the baby's natural instinct is to fight you because it hurts and you're getting angry and bruising them. Nope. Earth said, what sucks the most is good nurses and staff are looked at like this because of the bad ones. I've seen so much nurse hate. It's unreal. And most nurses are amazing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this one nurse is going to make the whole hospital look bad and everything. And it's so hard to get a bad one fired. You got a doctor fired easier than the staff, probably because they're understaffed. Yeah. Amy said, my sons were in the hospital 3 or 4 times each from the time they were born, but until they were around 7 years old, and I stayed with them the entire time. Every second I slept there and everything. I did too. When my babies were born, they had to like take them from me. I remember one was like, I'm going to go take her for a bath. And I was like, no. Like, I didn't want my children to leave at all. They were like, you need to sleep. And I was like, I'm fine. I hope these parents keep on talking and making everyone aware of what the fuck is going on there. It's unbelievable. Yep. And then lastly, Laura said, I worked in a county hospital and parents were allowed in the NICU except for during shift change, and they could stay outside in a little waiting room until we were done changing shifts. That's good. That's good. We had a 2 times a day visitation in the NICU in Birmingham with my daughter. We weren't allowed to stay. A lot of times you're not, unfortunately. I saw this, and I don't know if it's new information or not, but this is going to talk about the Kentucky sheriff who shot the judge with the sex ring in the jail and the courthouse. So I thought we would see what this says before we go for the day. If it's not a new one, I have this one for us to look at. But I think that one girl talks more about everything that was going on.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my channel. I really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I got so much reaction to my last episode about the sheriff accused of killing the judge in Kentucky and this secret alleged sex ring and women saying they were forced to have sex with the judge in order to avoid jail time. Well, there's so much more. There's so much more. We got this audio recording. It's a recording where state law enforcement is interviewing a woman, and this is long before the judge was murdered. And the woman says that she saw an inmate having sex with the judge. What did state law enforcement do about that? Did they do anything? What is going on? Is this all just a huge cover-up? I'm looking into it in this episode of Brian Ensign Investigates. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for checking out the podcast. This is Allison Weiner, who you also see here, who is the producer that I work with, who I went to Kentucky with for the story about this sex scandal. And
so he's asking, so far, is anybody looking into everything that was going on in that area? Hey, Parabola.
And everything else that we uncovered, and a ton of corruption. It's funny, we're both in hotel rooms, Allison, which is basically the story of our life because we're always on the road for these different stories. But real quick, a quick recap. Sheriff Sean Mickey Stines shot Judge Kevin Mullens. This was September of last year in Lecter County, Kentucky. It was on surveillance video. There was a camera inside the judge's chamber, and you saw the sheriff go in and shoot the judge, which I've never heard.
See, notice the judge has a cigarette in his hand right there, and it looks really long. It almost looks like a rolled cigarette.
Of a sheriff shooting a judge before, which is one of the reasons we started digging into this case. I interviewed, along with Allison, Taya Adams, who was in my last podcast episode, who said she had sex with the judge countless times when she was in jail, when she was trying to get out of charges, that this was just a common thing that people did. It was widespread. Listen again to a little bit of what she said.
So I mean, you're saying it like it's so normal, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So the judge would have sex with inmates from the jail.
Yes.
And you saw it.
Yes. I was part of it. I was one of them. Not just from being in jail, but coming in off the street and seeing them. Yeah.
Could y'all imagine that? Like the judge is having sex with the inmates. Bay George. They do. They need to file. They need to call Joint Commission to file complaints. They need to file some complaints. They do. It'd be hard to shut me up about that stuff. He was very ugly, in my opinion. His actions, his whole demeanor make him just all the more ugly, in my opinion.
How did they keep it a secret?
It wasn't a secret.
Nobody cared. Nobody
Wasn't a
cared.
secret.
Why did you feel like you had to have sex with the judge?
Because he's the one with the power. He
Yep.
holds my entire life in his hands. He's the one that makes the decisions over whether I get to keep my children or not. He's the one that makes the decisions on whether I go to jail.
Okay, so that was Taya. It was quite an interview that Allison and I did when we were in Kentucky. Allison, you can't see her on video, but she was behind the scenes. But Allison has really been digging into sort of the why behind all of this, because we got so much reaction to our first story, and people wondering, how does this all fit in with why the sheriff may have killed the judge? And there's lawsuits, and there's a lot to it that Allison has dug into. That's why, sorry, I've been talking a lot, Allison. I want to let her talk. I mean, walk us.
So, yeah, that's what everybody wants to know. We know that basically the courthouse was a brothel, and that about a week before the sheriff shot the judge, that he had to be deposed or basically go to court and testify. Get ready. There was a court case that he had to speak in where they were talking about basically the sextortion stuff going on with a deputy of his and females from the jail. So how does it tie in with the sheriff shooting the judge? How is it all related? Hopefully they're going to be able to tell us. Earth Angel said, for the babies, get an attorney. Third qualifier most can't get is intent to do harm on medical malpractice. Harm a baby and leave bruises, you're likely to win that case. So definitely get you an attorney and sue them. Marlboro Light 100s. I smoked Marlboro menthol 100s, and they didn't. I actually had one in my hand. It didn't look longer to me. I don't know. Maybe it is about the same length. Okay.
Through that, I mean, why? Do we know why?
Well, we kind of know why, and I think we're going to find out more. I mean, we haven't actually heard from Sheriff Stines' lawyer in recent times, and he's getting to the point where they're going to divulge exactly why. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that Sheriff Stines was the only person filed against in these civil rights lawsuits. There were like two.
So Sheriff Stines was the only person that was in trouble per the civil rights lawsuit, and he knew the judge was sleeping with people too, and it wasn't just him, I guess. Kate said, lesson of the day, don't go to jail, don't go to the hospital, don't have kids, and don't live with a man. Amen. Scrap Owl, 126. 100s, like you can get 100s and they're longer, basically is what they call them.
Two inmates who filed a civil rights lawsuit, and this is what made the state of Kentucky start to investigate this whole scam, or scheme, I should say. Basically, what we have here is that the sheriff was sued along with Letcher County for behaviors that forced inmates into having sex in order to get drug rehab or home detention, either to go to a drug rehabilitation center or have home detention. So in the process, after this lawsuit, and in the lawsuit, they alleged that Deputy Ben Fields had been forcing these two particular victims, allegedly had forced them into having to have sex. He ended up getting convicted, but the lawsuit continued. It was a civil rights lawsuit in federal court, and Sheriff Stines had to be deposed. And a lot of the questions that were going to be asked of Sheriff Stines was, who else was involved in this? Was it just Deputy Ben Fields? And there were a place in the lawsuit like where you could add new people. So what ended up happening is that the sheriff was deposed, and then just a couple days later, he shot the judge. And the nexus there is the sheriff was told not to talk. The sheriff was not to divulge that there were other people involved in this scheme. We don't know how he was told not to talk. We don't know exactly what kind of threats were levied at him, but this has been something that has been out there, that the sheriff went into that depot and he said nobody else was involved. And we even know from the investigation by the state of Kentucky into Deputy Ben Fields that one of the alleged victims said that Judge Mullens was having sex with inmates as well. Other people were involved, according to the victims, and that's how there's a connection.
I don't know why I was muted. I apologize. I dropped the link to his channel. So Sheriff Stines was told not to say anything and like threatened. And then we know that like when he shot the judge, he said they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter. So that makes me think he was told if he said anything, they were going to kidnap his wife and daughter. And so he testifies in a federal courthouse under penalty of perjury that nobody else is involved in the sextortion scandal that's going on. But witnesses on the stand say the judge is involved. And he was told not to talk and possibly threatened with them kidnapping his wife and daughter. And then somebody else said something. So it's kind of adding up now. I think there's literal bodies out there. And I think that there's more. I mean, I think they could have a lot more on the sheriff than we know. But it makes sense that like he was threatened not to tell. And then somebody else said something about the judge. And he's scared they're going to kidnap his wife and daughter, I guess.
Okay. And this is an explosive. You mentioned that one of the victims said that the judge was also involved in one of these interviews. Was that with state law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. This is really explosive. And Allison obtained this audio where the victim names Judge Mullens. I want to play this for you. Actually, I have it on my phone here right now. I'm going to play for you the sound from this interview. All right, listen.
But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the video?
I've seen one partly, just him having sex with girls for to be able to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
You saw the video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I've seen Judge Mullens having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know. Because I don't know a lot of people from over.
Where was it at?
In his office, in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge's chambers? And this was Judge who?
Mullens.
Okay, if all of this was really going on, who showed her the video of the judge having sex with another girl in the damn judge's chambers, I wonder? $7 or $8, I think. But I get a Sheets and get like 2 packs for like $12.
So she clearly says that she saw Judge Mullens having sex with an inmate, is what she said.
Right. And what ended up happening?
Done about. I mean, this is to state law enforcement. This is an interview to state law enforcement long before the sheriff killed the judge. I'm just wondering, like, did they not investigate? Do we know?
They said that they did, but you don't really see any record of them doing anything. They ask if she has any evidence. It sounds like they don't really particularly believe what she's saying. She says that there's a videotape, she believes, and she says the guy's name. They look for the guy. He says he is only going to give it if they get rid of his warrants. They say they can't do that. And that's about the extent of the investigation. There's no record of them having an interview with Judge Mullens. There's no record of them talking to anybody else besides Ben Fields, the guy that was actually arrested. And, then the lawsuit has been going forward, the civil lawsuit. But you don't really see much of an investigation by the state of Kentucky, and that's disturbing.
So the state of Kentucky, even the police, the higher-ups that came in to do this investigation, came in and didn't do a damn thing. Didn't do shit about it. Wow.
How is it that we went there and a woman told us that she saw the same thing as and participated in the same thing as what this other witness said. And there are other women too that just didn't want to go on camera. Like, do you think that the state really tried to investigate?
You know what? I can't get inside their heads, but it doesn't look like it from the documents. And the documents that were turned over pursuant to a FOIA request. So you don't really see them doing much of anything. You see them finding one guy who's involved in this whole sex trafficking scandal, and that's Ben Fields. But you don't see them really going at anything else. And the only person that really was going to ask who else was involved was going to be the lawyer at this, in the federal civil lawsuit when Sheriff Steinstedt sat down for that deposition, and they asked him. And he said nobody else was involved. And that's where we get to the crux of the matter. He didn't talk about all these other women. And I believe he knew. And he didn't do it because he was afraid and he had been threatened by someone. And that is what our sources, we both know, are telling us.
So nobody's saying anything because they're scared to death and they've been threatened. But is somebody doing an investigation into the shit going on there, or is this like fucking Epstein Island in Kentucky for the whole entire state, or the FBI, or whoever? Is this where everybody goes to party? Yeah, good old boy system. But why is nobody investigating?
Of all the women, from the very beginning, there were women saying they were victimized by other people in the Letcher County law enforcement community, also people with the judge. I heard that at the very beginning. You heard that at the very beginning, but they were afraid. There's it's a very small place and they're afraid of retaliation. And it seems to be something that they should be afraid of, because whenever these women would sort of try to buck against the system and say, I'm not doing the sex anymore, at least according to the complaint according to the civil lawsuit, they got arrested again. And they were drug addicts, basically the perfect victims. Nobody's going to believe them. They have a history of substance abuse, arrests, lying about things, whatever, things that go with having an addiction to different substances. So it's pretty much a culture of fear. And you have alleged victims who have no power and who are usually not believed.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but it wasn't like they weren't saying anything, at least behind closed doors. But then they would be like, don't use my name and don't say where I live and don't act. Can I meet you somewhere secret? That kind of thing.
Where does the lawsuit stand?
So, yeah, because you would be scared to death. But who do you tell when you're telling everybody and nobody's doing anything? Who do you go to? Who do you ask for help? This is his producer, but she's one of the ones that's been out there talking to people and basically digging on the case. I don't know, that. Who do you talk to when everybody's involved and nobody is listening? And if you do say something, you end up picked back up. You could have been clean forever, and then they pick you up on some bogus drug charge, and who's going to believe you? You hear about this is the kind of stuff that movies are made about.
And now, is it still ongoing?
They were supposed to be settling it, but it's still ongoing.
They're talking about the lawsuit now. He said, what's going on with the lawsuit? Is it still ongoing? And evidently they were supposed to be settling it.
There's been no settlement as of yet. And for a while, it was stayed pending, Sheriff Stein's criminal proceedings, but it was supposed to be moving forward. And a while ago, it was supposed to have a settlement, but nothing's happened. Not that we haven't seen anything reported, and none of our sources are saying that it's been settled. But I got to tell you, it's really eye-opening to talk to the women that we talk to. I think you agree. Don't you that, and to listen to these stories where they've been so victimized that sometimes they don't even realize they've been victimized.
Yeah.
And
like you said, they are the perfect victim because they've had these addiction issues. They have, even Taya told us, wait till you see my record, how long it is. They admit that they've been in and out of jail. It was just talking to people, they've all been in the jail. It seems like it's the weirdest thing. I mean, when I was in the jail, and it's like, oh my God, everybody's been to jail in this town. It felt like, but that's just most of them have done drugs at some point in their life. They admit it now, and I didn't have any reason to believe that the woman we interviewed was not telling the truth. I'm just wondering when they arrested Deputy Ben Fields, did they not realize that there were other people possibly involved? I mean, or maybe they just, sort of needed, sort of like a guinea pig to be done with it.
I think he was just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there's definitely other people involved, but Deputy Ben Fields was going to be the fall guy. They were going to, it sounds like they said they were going to settle the lawsuit. So Ben Fields was the fall guy. They got Ben Fields, here's your monster, here's your money, here's your settlement. Now leave us alone and let us continue to do the fucked up shit we were doing until the sheriff shot the judge.
Think that they were like, let's wash our hands. We're done here. We arrested somebody. He's going to go to jail. These are serious charges and this is all done. And after that happened, then, we have the lawsuit where somebody's about to talk. The sheriff's about to give testimony. Everybody was waiting to see what is he going to say. And he ends up saying very little. And we know now from all these women, Sheriff Stein was there for a long time in a position of power. He knew. And I think we're going to find that out when he goes to trial. Probably saw things and knew things and didn't discuss them, at that deposition because of this is a lot of powerful men involved in this exploitation of these women.
And Deputy Ben Fields, who is the deputy who was arrested and charged, it was rape, right? Wasn't it rape?
Yeah, rape 3. Yeah.
So we interviewed a jailer who had worked at the jail and sort of described how even after he was arrested, he got this special treatment within the jail, which just goes back to the corruption and how deep it goes. Listen to what she said about when this deputy ended up in the county jail.
When did you realize that something strange was going on at the jail?
When Ben Fields came in and became an automatic trustee. That was what had made my eyes go, oh, wow. Okay, so our systems aren't how they're supposed to be, not even in our guidelines. It confused me because, most times in jail, when somebody comes into jail, you're there for a while, and then there's the process of if you want to become a trustee, which is one of the inmates where they get to do special jobs like helping prepare the food or going out on work release. You have to apply for that. You have to ask for it. You have to show that you have the initiative to want to do it. And Ben Fields, from first day stepping into our jail, was a automatic trustee. Special treatment. It was awful. We have 2 solitaries that is beside the ice box where they keep all these supplies, feminine products, pops, stuff like that, which is supposed to be a one-man cell. At some points, there's 2 or 3 people in there, but there was 2 men that was in that cell that had gotten moved. So that way Ben Fields could be moved into that cell. He got a brand new bed. He got a brand new flat screen TV, automatic trustee. He had his own pack of cigarettes in the break room, Marlboro red shorts. It just wasn't fair. You know what I mean?
They did that to keep him hushed. That was because I'm willing to bet money that's because they wanted Ben. Ben was supposed to be the fall guy. They said, okay, you're going to be the fall guy for this, and you're going to have to do it so that nobody else finds out about all the other shit going on. You're going to take this. You're going to be the fall guy. You're going to have to shut the hell up, but we're going to take care of you while you're in jail. And this is just a civil lawsuit. Everything will go away after we pay the money, and everything will be swept under the rug. And then the sheriff shot the judge. But who else? I mean, are the other people involved going to pay for this as well? Like now that all this other shit's happened? Wow. How interesting. So Deputy Ben Fields, who was having sex with the inmates when he got arrested and went to jail, was I mean, his own cigarettes in the break room. You don't even get cigarettes in jail anymore. Sometimes you get e-cigarettes in prison, but not. Wow, I can't. His own brand new bed, y'all. Them beds, they're like they suck. The mats, you don't ever get a brand new one. Own his own flat screen TV in the cell. Like, wow. Automatic trustee. This is crazy.
It just showed the system wasn't how it should be.
So just, I mean, that jailer was open with us about saying that shocked her, the way that he got those privileges within the jail. She said also that she had heard about jailers having sex with inmates and them taking them into the courthouse to have sex. Yep. I mean, just crazy stuff. What do you think is going to happen next, Allison? I mean, obviously, I think we should go back. I think we have other people we want to talk to, but I just wonder, like, is this really going to be investigated by law enforcement?
I think we need to keep the spotlight on Letcher County. And I think we need to watch what happens in Sheriff Stines' trial. How much of this whole trafficking ring is like going to be exposed? These women were.
Yeah, I heard that one of the women suddenly overdosed and died, and she had been clean for a while. And see, people would look at it and say, well, she probably started using again, like, because sometimes when people overdose and die, they'll have been clean for a little while, and then they go and they get the same amount that they were used to doing after building up a tolerance to it, and they do the same amount and it's too much and they die. Unfortunately, that's why it's even more dangerous to use drugs after you've gotten clean and been clean for a little while. But if somebody did it to her, that, I mean, automatically everyone would think that, oh, she relapsed. And she used the same amount that she had been used to using before. And that's why she overdosed and died. Whereas it could have been somebody came to her house and forced her, tied her up, whatever, forced her to do anything. And even if there was like proof or marks or bruises on her showing that maybe she didn't do it to herself, like, would it even be investigated? This whole thing is so crazy to me. His wife was still working there during that time, and there are claims they allowed alone time. Of course they did. I have no doubt that they did. And I remember hearing that his wife worked there. Yeah, I know people in my life have done that as well, Cara. I'm sorry that happened to you. But yeah, I don't think that we'll ever get true justice and know everybody that was involved in this.
Allegedly given to friends of Judge Mullens and friends of Ben Fields. Ben Fields had a family member that he took one woman to that she had to have sex with. And as soon as the women would say, you know what, I've had enough, allegedly, they would end up back in jail or they'd get pulled over for something. So it's just, there was a culture of silence. And I think what we're going to find in Sheriff Stines' trial is we're going to get a lot of the answers as to how many people were involved in this and maybe who some of them are. And I think we're going to be hearing from the lawyers. So everybody should really stay tuned to what you're doing next. I mean, for our next time, we're going to have an interview with Sheriff Stines' lawyer who's going to lay out and give us that nexus between this lawsuit and why Sheriff Stine allegedly snapped and did kill the judge. And I think that's where it's going. But we are so much closer now that we realize how much probably, that Sheriff Stines must have known about, and that he was the only one. I think this is what everybody needs to realize. Sheriff Stines was the only one named personally in the lawsuit. It's the county of Letcher County, county of Letcher County, whatever. It's Letcher County, and which seems to be appropriately named, I have to say at this point. It is Sheriff Stine, and that was it. And other people are involved. So he was the one who was going to get blamed for everything that had happened to these victims. And these are just the first two. So who else is going to file? But I think that he had a lot of pressure on him because he was protecting, or supposedly protecting, a lot of other men who were involved in this.
And why yeah, that's a good question though. Why was Sheriff Stines the only one that was named in the lawsuit with Ben Fields?
And these sex parties, the things that we heard about, that didn't just happen with a bunch of, the inmates had other people they were supposed to be having sex with.
Yeah.
It's pretty tawdry. It's pretty upsetting, but it really is mostly what it looks like is the powerful really exploiting the powerless.
Yeah, 100%. And you mentioned it. I mean, hopefully we'll have an interview with the sheriff's lawyer soon, which I think will be able to clear up some of what's going on behind the scenes, what the motive may have been. And of course, he's getting ready for a trial, so I don't know how much he will tell us, but we'll see how we'll have something hopefully in the future. Al,
And I think that this other one came out after that, but yeah, this appears to be the one with the lawyer. We don't have to watch all of it, but we can see what the lawyer said, what Sheriff Stein's lawyer said, if y'all want to. I don't really have a lot else for today, so I don't know. I'm going to see if it looks interesting. If not, we'll stop.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my channel. I really appreciate it. The sheriff in Kentucky accused of killing the judge and this alleged sex ring cover-up. In this video, I'm going to show you the body camera video from when the sheriff was arrested, and he says over and over again that he is scared that someone is going to kill him. Why did he say that? Also in this episode, my exclusive interview with the sheriff's attorney. Fascinating. He says that the sheriff was scared, that threats had been made against the sheriff's wife and daughter, that he felt powerless. What is the attorney talking about? I'm going to get into all of it in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates.
Mama Mia, I hope you have a good day, love. And thank you for your kind words. I did drop the link to this one as well. I'm kind of interested to know what Sheriff Stein's attorney had to say.
It was last September when Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Stines shot and killed the judge in Letcher County, Judge Kevin Mullens. And last week in several episodes on my podcast, I exposed what appears to be a massive underground, very corrupt sex ring in Letcher County, and how it may all be connected back to why the sheriff shot the judge. I interviewed Taya Adams, who said she had sex with the judge countless times, that she did that to avoid criminal charges and jail time. And she told me that other women have been doing the same thing for years. And the jail in Letcher County was also described to me essentially as one big brothel. There's also been this.
That's crazy. So the jail and the courthouse is just a big brothel.
Ongoing federal lawsuit in Letcher County connected back to this alleged sex ring. And I am told that the sheriff was very, very close to having to testify as part of that lawsuit to give a deposition right before he shot and killed the judge. His lawyer goes into detail with me in a moment about what was going on in the sheriff's brain in that moment and what exactly he was so scared of. But first, let me play you some of the body camera video that we now have. This is body camera video inside the Letcher County Courthouse after they arrested Sheriff Stines. And listen, because you're going to hear him say over and over again, you'll hear the sheriff say that he is worried that someone is going to kill him.
I'm not going to get put in a vehicle and go outside. Well, yeah, I understand why you're worried, but at the same time, you know how it is with something like this. We're going to be worried about you in the jail down here with local people. You know? Right now, I'm alive and well, no weapons on me.
So the guy talking to him is the one that interviewed, like when we just heard the woman talking, that was interviewed, that said she saw the judge having sex with a girl in his chambers, is also the same guy that's investigating, that's talking to Mickey Stines right now and doing the investigation. So if he talked to the witness said that she saw Judge Mullens having sex with a girl in his chambers and didn't investigate it and didn't do shit. It makes more sense now why Sheriff Stines in this video is so freaked out about what they're going to do to him. Because the guy that he's talking to right now knew about everything and didn't do a fucking thing to stop it. So that makes me think he's involved too. I do agree, Ava. Without a doubt, it's all connected to the judge and the sex ring. Cindy said she was named as his booze. Once Ben went to jail, the new sheriff was added and Stines was dropped. Yep. Like, how are you so... Who's so horns? I don't know, Yippee-ki-yay. I think it is a lot bigger. Like, yeah, the Lord only knows how massive this is. And I think it happens in a lot of towns as well. It's kind of making more sense now. And I'm wondering, now that I've heard, and it's kind of been confirmed that the guy that's talking to him right now, that Stines is carrying on the conversation with, is the one that was interviewing the girl that said she saw the judge having sex with the girl in his chambers and didn't do a fucking thing. He's got to be involved. Sheriff Stines knows that and can't say anything. So he probably really is scared for his life. I don't think it actually was some kind of trying to play like he was crazy like I thought before.
If I leave this building, I won't draw another breath. We're going to go in one of these rooms, and we're going to talk real fast. Oh, yeah, not in one of these right here. I don't know. I think they cleared one out. So you feel safe doing that? Why? I ain't gonna let nothing happen.
See, right there, he's looking at him like, why are you asking me why? You know we're being recorded. Like, you know why. You fucking know why. The way Sheriff Stines is looking at him right now, he's saying, you fucking know why. Like, why are you playing stupid? Y'all are about to kill me. I get it now. It's crazy. It's clicking. We just had 4 to 5 sheriffs get taken down by FBI for illegally giving visas in cahoots with foreign store owner here. Got them all the same day. Oh, wow. Yep. I agree. Fortunate said he was pushed to his limits, but he's not delusionally paranoid about it for sure. Right.
Okay. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. So don't worry about that. I'll stick with you until you go to your cell. Okay? You'll be all right. I promise you. I know better than that. What? Mickey, you know, we just talked about we known each other forever. I ain't gonna let nobody hurt you. So I can see everything. I don't care if everybody hears. I just don't feel safe. Okay. Well, here you should feel safe. There's cameras here. There's people everywhere. People in there. So if we pull up some chairs right here, would you talk to us right here? And you don't have a problem transporting stuff. Well, that's transport is another issue. We'll make sure you're safe on that too. We'll wait till after we get done talking. I ain't trying to be difficult, guys, but I don't feel safe. We got to know what led to this, Mickey. What transpired leading up to this? Because I know it just didn't happen for no reason. Something's happened. Everything has a reason why it happened and why.
He's looking at him right now like, you're fucking setting me up. You know why it happened, and you're recording this, and I know you're recording. Like, yeah, I think the sheriff is scared to death. He's like, why? You fucking know why. Why are you asking me why, knowing we're being recorded? You fucking know why. Like, what are you doing? Y'all are about to kill me. I get it. I get it.
Somebody acts the way they do. Just be fair to me. We'll be fair to you. Just don't beat on me. I ain't gonna beat on you. Nobody else is gonna beat on you. You know that. Don't shoot me. Somebody gonna kill me. Nobody's gonna shoot you. Nobody's gonna kill you.
Those of you that are leaving, I hope y'all have a good weekend and a good day. Okay. He knows, the one talking already knows. He's looking at him that way. Right, exactly. He knows that he knows, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you acting like this?
Don't do that. Don't shoot me. Kill me and stuff. Let's talk about it. What happened today? Which jail are we going to?
I think, not positive, Mickey, but I think they're transporting you to the Leslie County Jail for your safety.
For your safety. And Mickey, you've been around most.
I'll never make it to the Leslie County Jail.
Hey, who do you want to? Who do you want
Put
to?
me in Leslie County Jail. I get killed there. I get killed in the jail. Yes,
Who do you want? Who do you want to transport you? Of all the police officers here, who do you want to go with you? It'll be it has to be at least one KSP officer. Even if you ask one of your deputies, Jason Bates is going to transport you. I'll go with Jason Bates. You know me and Bates our whole lives. You know we ain't going to do anything to you. I'll go with Bates down there with you.
Why do you think we're going to do something to you?
Because y'all are all involved. Lorianne said this should be handled by an outside source, and I agree. But it sounds like the outside sources could be involved too.
I don't understand that. Why would we want to hurt
somebody on the way? Y'all stop and let somebody on the way.
No. We're going to stop and let somebody do something to you? No. That's actually kind of insult to do that. Look, I know this is obviously a very crappy situation, but I assure you that we have no intentions of harming you.
I've worked with you for how long now? You know how I've worked. You know how I've operated. I've always been fair with anybody. They say he's transporting. Yeah. So who's waiting on us at the Leslie County Jail or
nobody?
Yeah. Just be fair to me, man. Give me a trial. You know, give me a trial.
Well, you know we're going to be fair to you. You've known us for.
Yeah, man. Box lifter, just be fair to me, though, man. Give me a trial.
I told him I'll ride with you too.
So I think that because I think there's literal bodies. I think that he knows somebody would be waiting or could possibly be waiting because he knows too much. And if the judge is threatening his wife and daughter, and then like they had the deposition and a witness named the judge, not the sheriff, but the sheriff had been threatened that they were going to hurt his wife and daughter if he said anything. And then if he talked to the judge that day at the lunch meeting before he shot the judge and said, you know, like, we need to talk about what happened at the deposition. Are you mad? And the judge said, we'll talk in my chambers, and didn't say necessarily that he wasn't mad or that he was mad. I think it blew up from there, and he felt like he had no other choice but to kill the judge, like it was going to be either him or the judge. And he thinks everybody in the whole town is on the side of the judge. Yeah, outside of the county, but I'm wondering, I think it needs to be handled outside of the state. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely some craziness. Yeah, KBI, I don't know, but are they involved? Like, who all's involved in this shit?
It makes he can ride with he can ride with me if that makes you feel better. I mean, I understand why everybody come in huffy and puffy, but there was several of them.
Well, emotions are high when things happen like that. They don't know if you would still want to be aggressive towards them.
Well, I was already cuffed, man, sitting down, and
I know
the other guys have patted me down and stuff.
I want to take a minute to thank our partner CyberGhost VPN for sponsoring.
I'm glad CyberGhost sponsored you. I'm going to skip that real quick.
To the Sally Port.
We'll be down there in a little bit, Bates. He just want to talk to you for a second. So,
be down where?
Sally Port. When we get done talking, we'll go down there.
You could see the fear in his eyes just then when he said, be down where? Like, where are you taking me? He's scared to death. Hey, Crystal. Earth said, agreed, this should be handled on far higher level when heads of sheriff department go down and etc. Right. Multiple counties involved. We know that now, and some state as well. I think so. I do. I think it's a lot of people. I think that Letcher County was the Epstein Island of like maybe even the surrounding states, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, all of it. Miss North said, well, if the state feds are involved, then just shut up and try to survive, basically. Yeah, I think that's where he's at. I'm kind of surprised he didn't get taken out either. I think because it became so public so quick is the only reason. Because, like, the day that it happened, this shit was on the news. That's when I got involved. This happened right after I started this channel. And it was like some of the first live streams I did was on this case. It hit the news quick.
You got gas already, full tank?
I got 3/4. Which way are we going to the Sally Port?
Not outside.
I don't want to go back that way.
Yeah.
Now, come on, guys.
What's the best way to go? I don't know. What's the best way to go, Bates?
I think it is probably that way in the elevator.
Yeah. I don't know.
We can all walk with you.
We'll figure that out.
I promise you, man. Listen, I promise you. You've known me and him for what? Since we were 14. Okay, fair to me. And I would I promise you, this right here is the Leslie County Jail, and they beat the hell out of me and killed me and stuff there. You know,
Nothing like that's
they're
going
not
on.
going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I promise. And I ain't got nothing on me now. Don't get me back there towards the active crime scene. Me end up dead when a million other people see me.
No.
Listen, the elevator's right there.
Don't they go down the Sally Port?
Car or anything.
Yeah.
Heck, you know who's all going on transport?
Me and him. I'll go with them. I'll be in the front, the passenger, and he'll be the driver.
I'm pretty sure I got 3/4 of finger gas.
Yep. Cameras will be listen.
I promise, Mickey.
Cameras will be on. Everything will be good.
Yeah, I know how I'll go down there.
Okay, Mickey. So listen, let's.
He said, yeah, I know how that works because, I mean, again, they've got the fucking judge having sex with people on camera. Like, yeah, there's going to be cameras. I know how that goes. There's camera footage of it and nobody does a damn thing about it or it magically disappears. Think about Delphi and all the first interviews, how they magically disappeared. There's been a bunch of times that camera footage from police have just magically disappeared. Kalisa said, I really think the only reason he didn't get taken out is because they were completely unprepared for what went down and they didn't have time to coordinate it. Probably. Right, Kelly? Miss North said, why is he even talking without a lawyer? He should have gone to KBI and turned whistleblower. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what all he knew before the deposition. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on because I haven't heard, he was named in the civil lawsuit, but I haven't heard the witnesses talk about Sheriff Stines. They all talk about Judge Mullens. Yeah, Cindy said he is terrified and a lot of people will go down once it's all exposed. If it gets exposed correctly. Golden Girl said, I wish his attorney was with him at this point. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. It's a scary place to be, and that's a good point, Gold Girl, and it's nice to meet you. I wish his attorney was with him, too. Even at that, like, I don't even know, like, who do you go to when everybody's involved, you know? Like, I don't even know if he could have turned whistleblower. I don't know if he could trust his attorney, the KBI, any of it.
Do you want to tell us what happened?
Yep.
That's up to you. I'm not trying to force you. It's up to you if you want to tell us what happened. I mean, like I said, something led up to this. It just didn't happen. We would just like to know why it transpired this way. If you don't want to, that's up to you.
I think he's like, you know why. You know why. Miss North said he was the actual sheriff. The rest are deputies. Correct. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I've heard. I've watched one of her videos. She's really good.
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Okay.
You're not going to kill me, ain't you?
No.
No, Mickey. Why in the world would we do that?
Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? Just making sure. And if not, then.
See, and this was always weird to me too. I don't mean to keep pausing it, but that's weird to me too. He said, no, I don't want to talk about it. He's freaking the fuck out talking about y'all gonna kill me. And then you keep on asking him, are you sure you don't want to talk about it? Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? Like, while he's already freaking out and thinking y'all are going to kill him. Like, are you trying to push him to talk about it? Are you trying to make him feel like you're going to kill him if you don't talk about it? Like, why would you keep pushing him? Yeah, he's named because it all happened under him. So what did he know? Like, is there a possibility he didn't know much? I don't know. From an insider who lives there, it's been really corrupt for a long time. That's what I've heard. I wouldn't trust anybody either.
We'll try to figure out the transport situation.
What do you mean try to figure out? You already told me what it was.
Well, how we're going to take you down there and stuff. So.
Yeah, y'all are going to kill me. I know you don't.
No. Why would you think that, Mickey?
Probably because it's happened before.
Let's get it over with. Let's just go.
You don't want to let us know what happened. Okay. Just if you don't care to hang tight, because I took on some of
Hey,
this
Pride.
property, I just need to give that to somebody. I'm probably doing.
Come on now, you guys are gonna
No.
do me and them.
No, I need to get.
Property. Don't let them do this to me, guys. Come on now. If you ain't doing nothing to you, nobody's gonna do that to you, okay? Come on now. Nobody's gonna do a thing to you.
You walk yourself, okay?
No, there's gloves there and everything now. Come on now.
Down and gloves. I don't know where they came from. That's from.
Come on now.
That's from EMS.
But I mean, see that like he's like talking about these gloves right here, and like if they were, I mean, it's all okay. If you couldn't, it makes me think that they. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me slow it down. I get that they could have been there from the EMS, and left there from dealing with the judge and everything that happened. But if you were in this position and you thought that they were going to try to take you out and they were going to set things up, and there had been a lot of corruption and backdoor dealings going on at that point, and they keep on asking you to talk about it, and you don't want to talk about it because you don't know who you can trust, and you know that everything is corrupt, and you just shot basically what could be the ringleader of everything, and you don't know who's on his side. And then you walk in there and you see gloves there that are just sitting there like ready to be used to commit a homicide without leaving fingerprints. Like all of the shit, I don't think he was crazy. I don't. Oh, I'm glad you got 4 days off. I hope you enjoy it, Pickles, and it's good to see you. I wouldn't be surprised if they find him like Epstein either. He's got to stay alive until the investigation and any trials are over, and that's a long time. I hope they keep him alive. I really do. Through the whole incident, I've noticed, but I also see why he's so uneasy too. Yeah.
No.
Keep going.
Now,
Come on. You're all right.
now. Y'all don't kill me now.
You ain't gonna do nothing to you. Except they stand here and put it in the car.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go this way. Come on. Nope, don't. Not that way. Not that way. Come on.
Mickey, speak to my house.
No, you can't talk to him. You can't talk to him. Come on, Mickey. You know better.
Come on now. Don't put me down in jail. Here or not.
Is that the jail or is this?
This is right here.
Come on, how do we get in the saddle car? Is that what?
It cuts left right here. I have been.
Open the door.
Hold on, give it a second.
There shouldn't have been nobody in there.
Come on, everybody's on lockdown.
Come on now.
So I want to
really?
play for you now my new exclusive interview with the Sheriff Stines' attorney. And I appreciate him for talking to me. And he's going to explain, and I got him on the phone. He's going to explain what his defense may be, because remember, there's a trial coming up. There's going to be a trial. Sheriff Stines is going on trial for murdering the judge. So he'll explain what the defense may be, and also why the sheriff may have been so worried about his life and threats that he says the sheriff's wife and daughter received.
Mr. Bartley, thank you for talking with me. I think you saw our stories. We were in Kentucky.
What? Is he in a freaking photo booth? AKA Respect Pickles, I think that you deserve your time off, and I'm sorry your schedule is going to be crazy when you go back. I'm glad you like your job. Oh, thank you, Mama Mia. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me while we watch this. I'm curious as to what his lawyer is going to say. Why is he in this enclosed space? Like, what is going on here? He looks like he's in a freaking photo booth or something.
There were a lot of people telling us about officials and the judge using inmates for sex. Does that play into the sheriff shooting the judge?
Well, Brian, what I can't do is I can't comment on the veracity of any of the claims made. I will say that my client's actions were the result of a mind that was overwhelmed by pressure, fear, and untreated mental illness. I will tell you that my client, the civil deposition that involved similar claims, was a focal point of the week leading up to the shooting that you've seen.
So if he's going to go with, I was not in my right mental state, I was under a lot of pressure, and I lost it. Basically, I was under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure, and I lost it. And that's what happened. Are we ever going to find out about what actually happened as far as the sextortion scandals, everything that was going on, and is anybody going to be held accountable? Because it sounds to me like he's still very afraid, and he's going to say, yep, I just lost my mind. I've got mental problems. I've got mental issues. I lost my mind. I took out the judge. I should have never done that. Just, send me off to prison to serve my time and my mental issues. I need help with that. And then, that's all she wrote. I wonder. You think Decker's ahead of the law? I'm wondering if those bones are him. Oh, he might be in a hotel room, you think? Maybe, but like a hotel room that small? I don't think we'll ever know the whole story either. And it makes me upset that he's still going to go down and protect them by saying, oh, I was stressed out. My mind isn't right. All of the things. He said, Brian with the good hair.
I can tell you that our client was aware of, had become aware of certain conduct. We believe that there was a network of power that was concerned with what would come out in the civil suit. We believe that our client began to feel powerless, isolated, and trapped. We believe that he felt that there were threats made against the well-being of his wife and his daughter. And so the revelations that have come out, again, I cannot speak to those. I don't have any involvement in those claims in terms of, having investigated them. But I will say that the lack of an independent investigation into these claims underscores the feelings of isolation that we believe our client felt.
Was there we've talked about the federal lawsuit, and we did reporting, with the recording with the interview with the woman who said that she saw the judge having sex with inmates. And there was this deposition coming up that the sheriff was going to have to be a part of. Was that weighing on him? I mean, how does that play into things? Was that just coming up very shortly, or I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
So yeah, now he's in jail and he can't protect his wife and daughter. But if he took out the one that threatened to take his wife and daughter out, then he still protected them by taking him out. Because, again, if we go back to that day, allegedly his daughter was studying under the judge. So the judge could have been doing anything with the daughter. Like, she was interning with the judge, okay? His daughter was interning with the judge, allegedly. And allegedly the night before the shooting happened, his wife got in an argument with him and told him to get out of the house. And then right when everything happened, we heard allegedly that he tried to call his daughter or his wife from his phone. I think it could have been his daughter. Some people have said his wife. She didn't pick up the phone. But then when the judge called, she did pick up the phone. So if you got Sheriff Stines, he knows all the shit's going on with the judge. The judge is dirty. And then a witness gets on the stand during the deposition and names the judge as being dirty. But the judge has somehow turned your wife and daughter against you to where your wife is arguing with you and telling you to get the fuck out of the house. The daughter, you try to call, won't pick up the phone, but she'll pick up the phone for the judge. And he's saying, I'm going to hurt them and you're not going to be able to stop me. And then he's like, look, they won't even talk to you. They'll talk to me, but they won't talk to you. Like, the only other option is to take him out because nobody's listening. Not even his wife and daughter. This is crazy. That's just a speculation. I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously.
I think that I think it's really no secret to anyone who's investigated this case or taken a look at it. The real line of when you could see a decline in my client's mental health was, it coincided with the deposition. There was a great amount of anxiety leading up to the deposition, and this really, it only happened after he gave the deposition. And so he was concerned that there was that there were a lot of eyes that were watching to see what and listen to what he had to say.
And you mentioned threats with his daughter and wife. I don't know if you can elaborate on that a little bit. What do you mean?
So how do they have proof? Well, we know that right after he was arrested, he said they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter. I can only assume that he's talking about the judge. The story that came out in the beginning of all of this was that his daughter was an intern. He tried to call his daughter. His daughter didn't pick up the phone for him, but picked up the phone for the judge, because we all thought it was the picture, that the contact that the judge had his daughter stored in his phone as. We thought that maybe it was like a nude picture of his daughter or something, and Sheriff Stines saw the contact picture and it broke his heart, so he shot the judge. That was the speculation at the beginning of this. But then we find out that he's not in his official clothes because his wife kicked him out the night before and he hadn't been at home sleeping. He slept in his vehicle or something to that effect. The next day is when he shoots the judge. All of that stuff came out at the beginning, but I don't know if it's still being reported on up to this point, because a lot of people weren't in it in the beginning and don't remember all this, or, only people who have followed it from the very beginning when all that was being said would remember all that. I don't know if you should be able to find it, but I don't know if you could now at this point or not. And then you talk about the mental decline. I'm wondering if he's just going to say, yeah, again, I was just not in my right mind, and just keep his mouth shut. You didn't hear that part. Which part? I'll see. If you go back to my live streams on this from back then, I pulled up articles or rumors or something that show that. I'll see if I can find it. The corruption in our world is sickening. I agree. I'm sure the judge was probably manipulating the daughter through her mother. Yeah. And through the mother. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I remember talking about those things in the earlier live streams we did on this about a year ago. I'll see what I can find.
Well, I mean, he felt that his wife and daughter, were physically in harm's way. And I think that's reflected in some of the post-arrest videos that have been shown. That's what I'm comfortable saying at this point. He felt that his wife and daughter were in jeopardy, and he believed that that they could be physically harmed and or taken.
Did the sheriff did the sheriff ever tell you, did the judge ever specifically threaten his wife and daughter?
I can't comment on anything that my client said directly.
Okay. Did your client see anything ever in Judge Mullens' chambers similar to what we've been reporting, what some of these women have come forward and said?
Again, I can't comment specifically on what my client saw, but I will say that I do believe there was concern about things he had seen.
Okay, so Respect Pickles said, I think he should bring it up. There's got to be a trail of evidence to support this. Can they get records of messages of the judge and the daughter? Yeah, they could. But remember, the person who is investigating the case, basically the guy from the KBI, or the one is all the person that's investigating most of this is also the one that was talking to Sheriff Stines in the arrest video saying, we're not going to hurt you. We're not going to do anything. When they go down in Sallyport in that video, you can see him. He's also the one that came in during the hearing where you hear the family crying because they show the video of the sheriff shooting the judge. And he's also the one that you hear the woman talking to who says she saw a video of the judge having sex with the inmates and he didn't never do anything about it. So if he's the one that knew about the judge having sex with the inmates because he did the recorded interview with the girl who said, I saw a video of the judge having sex with an inmate, that's the same guy that arrested Mickey Stines, that's lead investigator on this case. And he didn't do a fucking thing when he found out the judge was having sex with girls inside the chambers. Why would he do anything now? Why would he pull the messages of the judge and his daughter? Like, it seems to me like it's all going to be swept under the rug, especially if Mickey Stines is saying, oh, it was a mental break. I don't know. It's very complicated. It's a lot to explain.
How do you feel about the allegations from women like Taya Adams, who we interviewed, saying that she had sex countless times with the judge, that other inmates had sex with the judge, that it was just sort of known that if you did that, you would, get out of being in trouble, basically?
But, I prosecuted for Commonwealth, Kentucky for a long time as an assistant Commonwealth attorney, and I always took the claims of alleged victims very seriously. I have no idea about the veracity of each of these individual claims, but I will say that I am concerned why we don't see an independent body of investigators looking into those claims. But again, that's, that is, that's in some ways outside of this case, in many ways outside of this case. But should they be investigated? I think definitely. And someone should take a look at this. I mean, there's a lot of things being said. There's a lot of things that we know did happen. That's how we have a video in the judge's chambers, right? Is because as a result of a civil suit and a criminal prosecution that involved that area. Now, as to what occurred and what specifically did or did not happen, I think until somebody investigates that and somebody that does it in an unbiased manner, then we don't know.
Right. And like I was just saying, the guy that's supposed to be investigating it, it's also the guy that they told way back in the beginning that didn't do anything about it way before the judge was ever shot. Gold Girl said, I'm sure they must have seized their phones by now, and even deleted item or text still can be found. If they're going to do that, though, I think that they said in the beginning, I can't remember, I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I thought I heard something about they didn't even get the daughter's phone because they didn't care about it. And the wife came out and said, because a lot of people thought that the sheriff caught the judge having relations with his daughter, and the family of the sheriff came out and said that was not what happened. And a lot of people didn't believe that. Lori Ann, the judge, was married, actually, and the district attorney of the county is married to the judge's sister, the judge's wife's sister. So basically, there's two girls, right? Well, one of those girls married the judge. The other one married the district attorney. So, and they're sisters. So it's a bunch of shit. Wife would have to testify, but if she did and lies under oath, and daughter should be fired to come clean. The sheriff's wife, well, yeah, but that's if anybody's going to say anything. And I don't know that they would call the daughter up on the stand because she was 17 at the time. Yeah, from what I heard. Now I could be wrong, but I don't think that they took the girl's phone, the 17-year-old's phone. I think that they didn't ever take it. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot.
But I do think, again, that underscores the lack of that independent investigation. Again, underscores the feeling of isolation that even the sheriff of a county can feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I do think that someone should investigate it and get to the bottom of it.
But
I'm just thinking about, if the allegations are true that this, sex ring, whatever you want to call it, was at such high levels. Is the sheriff at all worried, or are you at all worried about his safety now while he's incarcerated?
I don't. I feel that at this current moment that our client is safe. As to his family, we believe they're safe. We hope they're safe, and I'm not aware of any specific threats having been made after this case was initiated. But I think that there are, or there has been a history of silence in Letcher County that is troubling. And, I think it's something that, without an independent investigation into what underlies all of this, then that silence is perpetuated.
Do you have any indication that
So far nobody's looked into this shit, and it sounds like nobody's going to. So of course he's gonna have to go with, oh, I lost my mind. I just had a moment. I had a breakdown because I was so stressed out, because nobody's looking into the shit. Therefore, the corruption is still ongoing.
there may be an independent investigation now
Evidently very
because
small.
of what's been coming out, and just because of people being perplexed by why the sheriff would shoot the judge? I mean, has anything happened recently that makes you think that maybe they will investigate in terms of like at the state level or even the feds?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that these allegations were made to certain investigative bodies even prior to this shooting. So to say that do I have confidence that there's an investigation? No. Am I aware that there is an investigation currently? No. But I do know that according to the same recordings that I've listened to on television myself, these claims were made to the Attorney General's investigators prior to this shooting as a result of the civil case and the criminal investigation of Mr. Fields.
And it's just
So real quick, I did find this, and it shows Letcher County, Kentucky. It appears to have three towns: Eola, Jenkins, and Colson. But that's about it, and only one major highway runs through it, and it's bordered by it has the Jefferson National Forest in it. So I don't know. The population was 21,548, and the county seat is Whitesburg. And I know it's in the mountains. It's not far from Hazard. Hazard might be in Letcher County, which is interesting. Hazard is where Jaden Spicer was from.
It's just interesting when you go there. We interviewed obviously Taya Adams and talked to some other women off camera, but there is this sense that this wasn't really a secret, what was going on. I mean, it seems like people knew, just like locals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, Brian, my wife and I both are from the adjoining county there in Eastern Kentucky, and I can tell you that these things have been said for quite a while. Again, I can't personally comment on the truthfulness or the veracity of any of that, but especially given what has transpired, I am curious why if there has been an investigation, what did it yield? Will there be an investigation? So yes, I have heard the same things. I'm aware of the allegations, and but again,
wait a minute. If he's in an adjoining county and he's heard about it, like, again, where are you going to get people that are not involved or biased about it? Like, even the surrounding counties know about what's going on because it's been said for so long. And he's a lawyer in a county surrounding that county, and he knows about the bullshit going on there. So, yeah, nothing's going to be done about it.
The fact that we don't have an investigation into this, again, underscores how even a sheriff can feel pretty isolated.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking if I'm the Attorney General's office or if I'm the FBI and I hear about a acting sheriff who shot, and it's on video, who shot a judge in the chambers, and then these other things come out. I mean, even before these other things came out, when I heard the story, I just thought, why would the sheriff do that? You know what I mean? Who has a family and who has, he's the sheriff. You know what I mean? Like, I would just think there would be enough there already to warrant someone coming in and saying, like, what is going on in this county?
I don't disagree with you, Brian.
What role will the sheriff's mental state play in the upcoming trial?
Everything.
Well, again, I don't want to get into specifics of our defense, but, it's been you've seen in the public filings and in the hearings that we believe that his mental health is going to be a large piece of our defense.
And just, I guess.
Right, because you can't tell the truth because nobody's even investigating the claims that have been made up to this point, and the fucking sheriff shot the judge. And nobody's looking into the fucking claims that led up to that. So, yeah, what are you left with? I gotta say I was out of my fucking mind. Sorry, I don't mean to cuss. It's irritating. Lori said, it's vast, frightening how many young women, maybe girls, have been forced into sexual situations. Exactly. Also wonder if his attorney is from out of town or sus as well. I don't know. I hope not. I think if his attorney was sus, he wouldn't trust him, but I think his attorney believes what he's saying. Fortunate Cookie said, in my opinion, none of them are innocent, including the sheriff. The judge's mistake was making it personal with the sheriff. That's a good theory. The sheriff was the one named in the lawsuit, but Ben Fields was under the sheriff, and I think it did have to do with training or something. But, I mean, all great points.
What caused him to get to that point?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at the anxiety, if you look at the pre-existing illnesses, if you look at the pressure, the lack of sleeplessness leading up to and following the deposition, and I think that created a very a very dangerous combination when you put that in conjunction with mental illness. And so the specifics of that I'm not going to comment on today, but we're very confident that we will be able to demonstrate that there was a mental disease or defect, and that he wasn't able to appreciate the criminality of his actions, and that we believe that he shouldn't be criminally responsible.
Yeah, right. Gold Girl said, my point is he deserves a fair trial, but it's not a fair trial, and he knows, so he'll go into the crazy plea. Exactly. So, I mean, you have all this information about all this shit going on. You even have video recorded, confession, like the girl saying, I saw the judge having sex with somebody in his chambers, and nobody is looking into it. Nobody's doing a fucking thing. So you can't do anything. What do you say? Who do you go to? Who do you go to say, well, the sheriff got called into a deposition. He was threatened by the judge. It allegedly speculating. This is all speculation, but how do you, okay, the judge, if it's true that the sheriff got called into a deposition and was told, if you say anything in that deposition about what's going on, I will kill your wife and daughter. And then he goes to the deposition. He says nobody else is involved, but a witness says a judge was there. And then all that shit happens. And then afterwards, the judge is like, I don't care. They still think that I have something to do with all of this shit, or they still have an idea of what's going on, and it's your fault. So I'm going to get your wife and daughter. You go home. Your wife kicks you out. Your daughter won't talk to you, but they're talking to the judge, and nobody's looking into any of this shit. Like, what do you do? I'm going to kill the judge, and I'm going to say I'm crazy, just like he did. He does. The judge does look like the Grinch, but the area is all corrupted. And who do you go to when there's nobody to go to?
So there's this whole rehab component, and some of the women we spoke to have talked about it too, that there's this connection between the drug rehabs and the violation of inmates' rights. Have you heard anything about that, or in your investigation, or, I mean, I know you can't talk about what the sheriff has specifically told you, but have you come across anything in that department?
Yeah, at this point, I can't really get into that. I don't want to comment on that part of the investigation at this point.
Okay, I understand. And just in terms of the...
Of course he does it, because he's scared too. Gold Girl said, a girl saying the same. They have to have sex or they will be jailed or lose their kids. Judge took advantage of addicts and mothers. Exactly, yeah. And he took advantage of them. If he had the sheriff's own wife and daughter's mind twisted against him, what do you do?
Where things stand. I saw there was a hearing last week. You were asking for a $50,000 bond for the sheriff. Doesn't seem like that has come through. What sort of happens next? I don't know if you can kind of give me a little bit of the timeline or what you expect and when the trial may be.
Well, I think the Commonwealth indicated in the hearing that they were going to seek funds to get another expert, and so I think that will, that will certainly set us backwards in terms of getting a trial date. But I think that there's a lot of pre-trial motions that I'm sure will be heard. And we're looking to get a trial date, hopefully, as soon as possible.
This, I mean, I'm assuming in your career, this is this is sort of an unusual case for you. I mean, it's an unusual case for everybody following it, but this must be interesting. Just sort of you said you're from the neighboring county, just sort of on a personal level, it must be sort of an interesting one.
Yeah, well, I think it's an unfortunate one.
Yeah,
I think that the people of Eastern Kentucky are extremely. In the majority of these folks in Eastern Kentucky are fine folks. They are extremely resilient. But I do believe that there has been a history at times of corruption in certain areas. Yeah. And I think that, you hope that if anything from a tragedy like this, you would hope that it gives an opportunity to shine light on how we got here.
So I'm definitely going to stay on this story, you guys. I mean,
Yeah. I think a light needs to be shown on how they got there as well. And I think somebody needs to do something about it. But I don't think anybody will do anything about it, unfortunately. And it's sad that it's probably just going to keep on going with all the corruption. Eventually, it does lead to death and all of that. But I think it's gotten to death long before the sheriff shot the judge, unfortunately. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me today and being here. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I will be back tomorrow, and we will talk about some more interesting things that are going on in the world. I don't know what to think about the sheriff and the judge. My end thoughts on it are that everything is going to stay the same and nothing's ever going to change. And he's being forced to go with the I'm crazy plea because nobody's listening. Nobody's going to do a damn thing about all the corruption going on there because there's just too many people involved. Thank you guys so much again for hanging out with me today. If nobody's told you, you are enough, you are loved, you are special, and you are important. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future.